College football on TBS, brought to you by the Home Depot. Go from wondering how to knowing how. At the Home Depot, you can't do it, we can help. Kia Motors, 7 cars, 1 belief. Kia, make every mile count. PlayStation 2 and Chili's, spicy, boneless, cool Chili's boneless buffalo wings. 68,349 expected to be on hand. Standing room only crowd as the Missouri Tigers, who have lost 20 straight to a ranked opponent, try to break a number of streaks tonight. Craig Sager standing by with Missouri head coach Gary Pinkel.
Well, Coach, you've mastered the game plan on paper, visualized it in your head. What can we expect from the Tigers tonight?
Well, it's going to be a real physical game. That's just the way they play, and we're going to have to match that, and we're going to have to make plays. And I think our players know that. They're excited about it. It's a great opportunity.
We talk about the streak. Did you tell your team the time is now to end it?
Well, that's something that we talked about a little bit, but again, we're dealing with right now, and we don't have to carry the past. We understand that it's a great opportunity.
All right, thanks a lot, Red.
All right, thanks very much. Gary Pinkel in his 3rd year has done a great job as we look at Frank Solich in his 6th year as the head coach at the University of Nebraska, played for Bob Devaney. He won in Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma State the first game of the year. That was his 50th win as Nebraska head coach. He did it in the same amount of time as Tom Osborne. And the series history, it's been 30 years since they've won here in Missouri, meaning the Tigers, but the Cornhuskers lead the overall series courtesy of that 24-game win streak dating back to 1978. Now, the weather might be just a tad iffy tonight. We've been watching some thunderstorms just to the west of Columbia, Missouri, but right now it is perfect conditions, 70 degrees, humidity 18%. And we've got a 50-50 chance of some precipitation. It's expected to be light if we do get any. Now, the crowd's been anticipating this game for a couple of weeks now because obviously Missouri had the week off after losing to Kansas a couple of weeks ago. A humbling loss to the Jayhawks, 35-14. Can they be too emotional at the start of this game?
Of course, because they've had 2 weeks to get ready. But I think that Gary Pinkel has struck the perfect chord for his team. The right tone that he set for them is, we're not dealing with the past. We're not worrying about 24 years. We're just getting better and taking 1 game at a time. And let's take what is right now in front of us, which is Nebraska.
Now, Missouri won the toss. They deferred. This is going to be Josh Davis at the 1. Crosses the 20, up to the 25-yard line, up to the 27-yard line. Nebraska's first possession will get underway there. The Nebraska offense has not really clicked on all cylinders either, but they're led by Jamal Lord, the senior from Bayonne, New Jersey. Now, his offensive yards last year were better than Eric Crouch's Heisman season, but he still gets criticized.
Of course, because the team was 7-7. As a quarterback, the only numbers you really are concerned with are wins and losses. If he had the same type of years as Eric Crouch with 10-2 records, 11-1 records, Jamal Lord would have been a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Of course, they have the new offensive coordinator in Barney Cotton, but it's pretty much the same Nebraska offense. Davis tries the left side, leans forward up to the 30-yard line. Let's take a look at our U.S. Army starting lineups. And at running back for the Huskers, the man you just saw, Josh Davis, son of Tough Tony Davis, the former Husker. This young man had 179 yards rushing versus Penn State. And on the line, a couple of injuries, but Richie Incognito will start at left tackle. Could move over to the center position. This is part of a Nebraska offensive line that is slimmer and quicker this year. Pick up of 3 by Davis. That's down, 2nd down and 7. Lord changing things up at the line. 2 to snap. They'll try the option back to Davis. Gets up to the line of scrimmage, maybe picks up 1 on the play before Jason Simpson comes up to make the stop. Missouri defense, this front 7 will have their hands full tonight. The line, Atia Ellison, he has really flourished since moving from defensive end to the inside. At linebacker, James Kinney, a junior. He averaged better than 12 tackles a game. And in the secondary, keep an eye on the young man, Nino Williams, a junior college transfer from Oklahoma City. He has become the leader of this defense.
Keep an eye out now for number 39, Brian Smith. There he is, their starting defensive end, 6.5 sacks on the season. They're going to use him as a 3rd down pass rusher tonight.
This is where Missouri's had trouble defensively. Opponents almost 50% on 3rd down. Lord steps up in the pocket. He's dangerous. Crosses the 35, to the 40, to the 45. 1st down, Nebraska. You know, Charles, we talk about third down, and Gary Pinkel said, I'm concerned about it at 49% for opponents.
And this is why he's concerned, because when you do bring pressure, you have to get the quarterback, especially one as elusive as Jamal Lord, who used his legs and just flushed right up the center, because all the pass rush pressure came off of the edges, came right up the middle where the offensive line kept the pocket clean, ran for a first down.
One of the top rushing quarterbacks in all of college football. He picked up 13 on that play. First and 10 from the 45-yard line of Nebraska. They go to the option. Well, we have a penalty flag thrown.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
There's Steve Uskek.
First down.
He's the man we're going to be listening to tonight. Frank Solich, though, of course, gave up the play-calling duties. Tom Osborne had him, Bob Devaney had him, and Frank just sort of became the CEO of the team. But he was telling us last night he enjoys it because he can interact with the players even more.
And he enjoys it because he has a staff around him that allows him to interact with the players and not worry about all the details of the program. Barney Cotton, the new offensive coordinator, has really seized that role and made things a lot easier for Frank Solich.
Barney, a former Nebraska lineman, after the Cincinnati Bengals in the National Football League, came over from New Mexico. Penalty was against the Huskers, 1st and 15. Lord keeps it, streaks to the outside, looking for some running room. Missouri strings it out, gets back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe 2 plus, so he picked up 7 on the play. Jamal Lord will probably go down, and I'd have to think this is a pretty fair statement, as the most second-guessed quarterback in Nebraska history. Pretty fair statement, do you think?
I think it's a very fair statement. Not all of this has been his fault, of course, but a Nebraska team that's 7-7 is not something that people in Lincoln are ever going to become comfortable with. And anyone who's a part of the Husker Nation, I mean, they can't even fathom 7-7. That leads you to second-guessing your quarterback.
Well, the official pickup was 8 on the play. Second down, we'll call it 7. Nebraska keeps it on the ground. Davis tries the left side. Nothing doing as that Missouri defense puts the stops on him. Xavier Jackson coming up with the stop. It's his second tackle. Now we're back to third down again, Charles.
Yeah, and it's the second time of the night. And here's where Missouri has had problems. Look at the defense right there. Last 49%. They already gave up a first down on a 3rd and long on this drive. Here they come after him again. Once again, you've got to get to Jamal Lord if you're going to bring pressure.
2 tight ends for Nebraska. Lord's first pass. Here comes the rush. He evades it. Crosses the 50, looks for the first down, and he'll be about a yard short. First hit was by A.J. Kincaid, the sophomore out of St. Louis. Zach Bill coming up to make the stop with him. Good job by Missouri, not only stringing it out, but also containing and hitting him.
And this gives them a chance to get off the field as Nebraska's punting unit comes out. Again, Jamal Lord flushes through the middle, gets to the outside, but Zach Bill helps run him down, and A.J. Kincaid, number 7, made the nice hit. They kept Lord about a yard shy of getting a second first down for Nebraska. Big series for Missouri.
This is the time that Kyle Larson may want to fake it early on. Maybe keep Nebraska on the up and up, the senior out of Funk, Nebraska.
And Missouri played for it, too. Had a punt safe and had a back line just spying on Larson.
Well, Larson's had a great year. He's a tremendous young man. Second team Big 12 last year, just kicks it out of bounds, and Missouri will take over. Craig Sager, the Black Shirts come on the field. Give us some more info on him.
Well, it's time to see the Black Shirts in action. Back when Bob Devaney took over Nebraska in 1962, he wanted a way to distinguish his first-team defense. He told his assistant Mike Corrigan to go down to the sporting goods store. He came back with 11 black shirts. What started out as a simple purchase is now one of the most proud traditions in all of football. This one belongs to defensive captain Demario Wilson. And we asked Coach Jimmy Williams about the black shirts. He earned his for 2 years. He says, once you have it, you keep it. Heaven forbid if somebody beats you out and you must give it up.
Good stuff, Sags. Thanks very much. 1st and 10 for Missouri. Smith's first pass of the game. He's going to have to scramble. Throws it out on the flat, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Thompson Oboga. Let's take a look at this Missouri offense led by Brad Smith, the quarterback. Last year's Big 12 Freshman of the Year. He has exceptional ability but there are some that believe he hasn't been throwing the ball as aggressively this year as last year.
Yeah, it's amazing. They point at 137 consecutive passes without interception, as if there's something wrong with that. You know, we always thought ball security was good, but they do want to see the ball go downfield. The initial play was designed that way, but Nebraska had it covered.
Smith on the run, passes complete over the 35-yard line to Umboga again, the junior out of Grand Prairie, Texas. The leading receiver picks up 12 on the play.
The first play, they tried to get way downfield for Brad Smith. Now he comes out with a boot action. He has Victor Cisse, number 84, short. And in the medium range, Thompson Umboga, number 87, the leading receiver. Excellent catch, first down for Missouri. And the Tigers are getting off to a good start, which they said was crucial tonight.
So much for conservative play calling. They wanted to have a little play action on first and second down. They're doing just that. They'll make it 3 in a row on the pass. Pass over the middle. Pass is caught inside the 50 to the 45-yard line. Sean Coffey, the sophomore out of East Cleveland, Ohio, his 8th reception of the year. Chalk up 19 more yards.
Sean Coffey is wearing Justin Gage's number 12. Justin Gage, a 4-year starter here as a quarterback and as a wide receiver, and they're expecting big things out of this sophomore. Coffey about 6'5", 200-plus pounds, runs excellent routes, but amazingly enough, has gone 2 games this year without catching a ball. That obviously won't happen tonight.
3 plays, 3 passes for Missouri, and that is aggressive throwing by Smith. First running play, they try the right side, and the black shirt defense stacks up Zach Abram, the senior out of Lake St. Louis, Missouri. Let's take a look at the rest of that Missouri offense. Zach Abram is the workhorse of this offense. This young man does not go backward. He is an aggressive runner. And on the line, keep an eye on A.J. Ricker making his 40th consecutive start. Now think about it. Since 1997, Charles, only 2 players have started at center for Missouri. A.J. and
Rob Reedy.
You got it.
And Rob Reedy holds the record, co-holds the record for most consecutive starts at 42.
Three-step drop. Smith throws over the middle. It's going to be picked off by Nebraska. Josh Bullocks with his 6th interception of the year. He leads the NCAA in that category, and that was an ill-advised pass, and we've got some pushing and shoving on the sidelines.
All right, now you ask the question, Missouri fans, are you happy that he's now thrown an interception? Do you think that this shows aggressiveness? I think he used the right words, ill-advised. He's scrambling away. That's when he should have tucked and brought down and not thrown it up for grabs. Josh Bullocks, his 6th interception of the year, leads the NCAA, 1 in every game thus far.
How about the fact that's the first interception thrown by Brad Smith this year? Syracuse, Texas, and Missouri, all with no interceptions coming into this week, all went by the wayside. On the pitch, back to Davis. Able to pick up a couple on the play.
Saw the turnover margin chart there. Always going to be a key to any ball game that you play. If you have good ball security and can get takeaways from the other team, that gives you an advantage. And that interception by Bullocks, my understanding now is that Sean Taylor from Miami has tied him. He had picked off 2 today, nearly had a 3rd in their big win against Florida State. So they're both tied at 6 atop the charts.
Nebraska has taken advantage of the turnovers. That's the 20th turnover. They've turned it into 54 points already this year. Last year, they only took advantage of the turnovers for 48 total points. Zach Villa on the stop. And that's a key for this Nebraska defense. They not only force the turnovers, but the Nebraska offense, yes, it's not rolling over people, but they're doing just enough to take advantage of those turnovers.
And if you continue to turn the ball over, a lot of the times you will give your offense good field position. Look at that. Only 40, as you mentioned, 48 points last year, 54 thus far this year as Nebraska heads into this drive off of turnovers.
3rd down and 7 for the Huskers. 1 for 2 already here early on in the first. Throw it out on the flat, has some running room. LaFleur has a lot of running room. Kiss him goodbye. The sophomore from Omaha, Mark LaFleur, his first touchdown reception of the year. And for Jamal Lord, his 3rd throw in it, and it covered 55.
And all it is simply a wide receiver screen. Look at the block out front. Great block by the lineman. Another one by a wide receiver out wide also. And LaFleur had an easy alley to get into. His hamstring miseries are obviously over. Full striding down the sideline.
And and the extra point by David Dykes is good. Now Nebraska not conservative with their play calling. Jamal Lord can throw that ball. He did. Huskers lead. Welcome back to Big PlayStation Saturday. We're in Columbia, Missouri, where Frank Solich and the Nebraska Cornhuskers have taken the early lead with 8:55 to play in quarter number one. This Missouri defense struggled in pass defense last year because quarterbacks had time to pick them apart. That wasn't so much the case as it was bad tackling on that touchdown pass.
It was. Nebraska got 2 blockers out in front of their wide receiver, but Missouri had guys pursuing from inside out, coming from inside towards the line of scrimmage towards the sideline. They should have been able to get over and make the play, make the tackle. Even if they get the first down, at least make Nebraska start another set of downs. Instead, a big play, and Nebraska's on the board early.
Sandro DeAngelis will kick it off for Nebraska. Seth Harrell of Tyrone Roberson, I should say, back to receive. DeAngelis drives the kick down to about the 5-yard line. Up to about the 27-yard line is Roberson. And Missouri will have their second possession. Let's take a look at that TD pass.
All right, take a look. That's Mark LaFleur. He's the wide receiver who's going to make the catch. Here are the 2 blocks that he's going to get downfield as he runs a little route. Watch as the tape goes. LaFleur just swings out, easy pass. 1 block, 2 blocks. He gets into the alley, and you see the safety coming from the backside. Bad angle to the football. Too narrow, too shallow. LaFleur's speed enabled him to beat the safety getting over.
They wanted to stay away from any type of big play. Nebraska really isn't that much of a big play team, but it was just, you got to wrap guys up. Now Smith will take over. Keeps it, goes left, throws deep. Good coverage by Nebraska. We're going to have a penalty flag thrown on the play. There was some pushing and shoving going on. Sean Coffey was the intended receiver, and Pat Ricketts, the senior out of Omaha, was step for step with him, and I don't think Frank Solich liked that call.
I don't think he's going to enjoy this call. Pat Ricketts had good position, but he got tangled up with Sean Coffey. And when he did, it looks like Coffey's going to get the benefit of the call. Take a look. Watch Coffey, number 12, running an out and up. Good job by Ricketts. Didn't bite on it. Now he's going to get tangled on the sideline. Let's see if I think this is going to go against Coffey.
It was against Coffey.
And if it does, it's an excellent call because Coffey pushed him from the back. Great position by number 28, Pat Ricketts.
Pass interference on the offense. The distance to the goal, penalty. Still first down.
You know what Pat Ricketts did that made that play work? Was that when he saw the out route, he didn't take his eyes back to the quarterback. He took his eyes to the receiver, kept him there, and then we saw the receiver make the break to go up. He was able to maintain position. Excellent defensive play by number 28.
He's one of the great stories of Nebraska, the former walk-on of Millard North High School in Omaha. Turned down a scholarship to play at New Mexico State and an appointment to play at West Point. Said, I want to play for the Black Shirts. Got a black shirt last year, and I think that made that young man's career. Good young man.
And he had to battle for it again this year because his backup, Lornell McPherson, battled him all through training camp before Pat Ricketts won.
First down in a bundle now for Missouri, backed up all the way to their 13-yard line. And first and 23, they keep it on the ground. The right side is Avery. Zach Avery, pretty good game. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson on a little wet Miami game. EJ.
Yeah, that thing was a little bit soggy, Thu, and Florida State, man, what a day they had against Miami. That's picked by Sean Taylor, the Chris Ricks aerial.
Chris Ricks threw more ducks today, and Sean Taylor was actually his favorite receiver. Wrong team.
Little known fact. Back to you, Thu.
All right, EJ. Smith on the rollout. Complete to the right side to Victor Cisse, the big tight end, and he's able to pick up the first down. Cisse's 11th catch of the year, the junior out of Silver Spring, Maryland. They're rude on the stop. They need to use their tight ends because you look at Cisse and McCoy and also throw Clint Matthews into the picture. They've got good tight ends on this Missouri team.
They do, and what they also need is to get their wide receivers downfield to create even more space for their tight ends. Their number 1 receiver, Darius Outlaw, is only averaging 6 yards a catch. That's unacceptable in their offensive scheme.
Well, it is starting to rain here in Columbia, and it's coming down pretty good right about now. Not quite Miami proportion. and Tallahassee proportion as they keep it on the ground. Zach Abram wrapped up by Trevor Johnson, the senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay, Mr. Cornerback defense, Tennessee stud, it's raining. Who does it benefit in this game?
Well, it always benefits the offense because they know where they're going as long as the quarterback can throw the ball. This is a zone play, what they call a zone quarterback run play, where you fake it inside or you hand it inside to the fullback based on whether the defensive end crashes or not. On that play, because Brad Smith handed it inside, I think that it was a run all the way to Zach Abram, not a quarterback zone.
Well, the quick pass from Smith completed up to the 45-yard line to Umoga. That's his second reception of the year, or of the night, I should say.
You go back to the field. I mean, the offense always has the advantage.
Yeah. And this is field turf too. It's not grass like it used to be.
Not grass. It's going to hold up very well. We were on it on Thursday when we came and watched Missouri practice. It was a little wet then. I noticed no one slipping and sliding. The footing should be sure for both teams.
Well, they got rid of the famous Missouri grass that had a lot of bare patches, and like a bunch of 9-irons were hit on it halfway through the season. Smith, another quick look in, passes complete and dropped. Incomplete. Sean Coffey had it in his hands for a second, couldn't come up with it.
That would have been a real tough catch because Sean Coffey's 6'5", and Brad Smith extended every bit of the 6'5", plus the reach with the arms. Watch as he comes to the inside. See, he's way up high trying to pull that in between linebackers. He knows he's going to absorb the hit. Very tough to pull that one down.
Brock Harvey set to punt it away for Missouri. On fourth down, we'll call it 3. This is some part of the game that really hurt him against Kansas. Gave the Jayhawks great field position. Davis is deep. This is a pretty good kick. Davis from the 4, lost the football. It's still loose. Let's see who's got it. It is Missouri's football. That is only the 7th fumble loss by Nebraska this year.
Well, number one, he's fielding it on his 5-yard line. Ordinarily, the rule is put your feet on the 10-yard line and don't back up. Then Josh Davis took his eyes off the ball a little bit. Well, I'm not sure he took his eyes off as much as the ball might have been slick due to the rain. Slid right through, and Missouri capitalizes. And now it's called sudden change territory. Can the defense elevate their game and keep Missouri out of the end zone? And right now, nothing less than a touchdown is acceptable for the Missouri offense. This is not a field goal situation.
Well, we've got a timeout on the field before that. 6:39 left in the first. Brad Smith and the Missouri Tigers knocking on Bo Pelini's defense. We'll be back to Columbia in a moment. Coming into the game, Missouri had a goal of 3 takeaways from Nebraska. Chalk up 1 already as they're knocking on the door, trailing 7-0. Is this the time where you have to use Brad Smith's ability on the very first play and not dink around for 2 or 3 plays?
I think you go right after him, and I think you use Brad Smith, who has the ability to throw it or run it, some type of a bootleg or what they call a waggle pass for pulling a guard to protect him getting outside. But I get him on the perimeter with a run pass option on my first play.
Missouri's offense is 3rd in the Big 12 in red zone success behind the Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Sooners. Smith looking. He's got some running room. Throws incomplete. Ran out of running room. Victor Cisse didn't have a whole lot of space to catch that football.
Actually did an excellent job faking the handoff inside to Zach Abram. Froze the Nebraska defense, but the secondary, good job in coverage downfield. Nowhere really to go with the football. I want to see Brad Smith get to the corner and really attack it. Really go after it because he's just dynamite when he gets into the open field.
And I like it because they're giving him the option. It's not just straight drop back all the time.
Yeah, I thought there would be more of a bootleg type option on that play, but you know, they get paid more money to be the offensive coordinator. I just talk about it.
That's right. Abram and Vayman in the backfield. It's Abram. Zach looking for the goal line. Touchdown, Missouri. Zach Abrams' 7th rushing touchdown of the year.
Okay, forget the run pass option. Use number 38 as the sledgehammer. Nice block out front. You see that? Looked like number 52, Tony Palmer. And then Zach Abrams determined running, carrying 2 Nebraska tacklers into the end zone. We have a chance for a tie game.
And the extra point hooks inside the upright, and it is good. So Zach Abram with the touchdown. That is only the third rushing touchdown given up by the black shirt defense this year, and we are tied at 7.
Right there.
Missouri has lost 45 straight to top 10 teams. Their last victory over a top 10 squad was in 1981 versus Mississippi State. But Zach Abram is tied up with number 10 Nebraska, 7-7. You can see the rain just pelting down on Michael Matheny, the kicker out of Columbia, Missouri, right here in town. And it is really opening up. There's Josh Davis, who just a few moments ago set the new Big 12 career record for kickoff return yardage. He's now number 1, and he is back to receive it. It's a pooch kick. Another fumble. Another one on the ground. And I think Missouri has it. Give it to the Tigers. Recovered it.
And what a great call by Gary Pinkel and their special teams coach. Why? Because why do you pooch kick? Because you want to kick it at someone who's not used to handling the football in this kind of weather. Great job right there. That was Jack O'Halloran, who actually is used to it as a wide receiver, but he doesn't catch it very often on kickoff return. He's back there to block. Go ahead and aim it at someone who doesn't handle it very often. Now the turnover story tilts in the favor of Missouri. Right now we're tied in terms of points off of turnovers. Here's Missouri's chance to forge an advantage.
You know, they didn't have good field position against Kansas. They've had great field position tonight. Smith throwing wide open. Pass is complete inside the 20, down to the 10-yard line, down to the 5-yard line. J.D. McCoy, the big tight end out of Moore, Oklahoma.
He's a guy they're glad to have back. He missed the last ball game with a knee injury. Nice pass into the flat. Watch the missed tackle. Pat Ricketts, number 28, who made such a nice play earlier. McCoy slips in before Bullocks runs him out of bounds. Missouri obviously in business, first and goal at the 6.
You know, talking to the Missouri coaches yesterday, they said they told their players Nebraska had 15 fumbles coming into this game. They didn't lose all of them, but they knew they'd put the ball on the ground. Abrams, or Damian Nash, I should say, in the lineup. Still on his feet, and he's going to be dropped for a loss back to the 12-yard line. Barrett Rude, the junior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, coming up from that middle linebacker spot to make the stop.
One thing you have to keep in mind on offense when you're Missouri is that the black shirts can run.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to go laterally against them, you need to go laterally for a short time and then make a move up into a gap. Find a hole and move upfield, because the farther you go laterally against them, they will run you down. We just saw evidence of that with Damian Nash.
Well, their mantra is run to the ball and play with effort. Second down and goal, back at the 10-yard line. They try the reverse. He's going to pass it. Outlaw, the former quarterback, tucks it and decides to run. And he's able to get inside the 10-yard line down to about the 8 again. Rude on the tackle. Just think a couple of years ago, that number 3, Darius Outlaw, the senior out of Powder Springs, Georgia, was quarterbacking the Tigers.
Yeah, ordinarily you'll see this type of play out in open field a little bit more, because right now the field's condensed. When you're down inside the 20-yard line, the back of the end zone actually acts as an extra defender for the defense. They're not going to buy the fake as much as they might out in the open field or create as much open space, so there wasn't much room for Darius Outlaw to operate on that play. Big third down for Missouri.
The numbers on Rude. He's done a great job from the shotgun. Intercepted. Nebraska puts the brakes on Missouri again. Demario Williams, the senior out of Beckville, Texas, was Johnny on the spot. It looked like it was thrown right at him.
Well, watch Brad Smith never fakes. You see, did you notice he stayed with Darius Outlaw the whole way in his drop? Never look to the right. Watch Brad Smith on his drop. When you see him go, his head is all the way to the left. Never looked right at all to try and look off the defender. Demario Williams just followed his eyes the whole way. That led him to the wide receiver and the interception. The black shirts get their second turnover of the night.
Now Bullocks has an interception. Now Williams has an interception. And Nebraska's just going to keep pounding it straight ahead running. It is David Horn, the sophomore out of St. Louis, Missouri. Spent some time at Coffeyville Community College.
Mark that one down, partner. That's a blown opportunity for the Missouri Tigers.
Absolutely. And
After
you
a
can't
turnover,
do that.
you can't do it. You've got to come out of it with points. You know, when we talk with Dave Christensen, their offensive line coach and offensive coordinator, what did he tell us? We've got to score when we get inside the red zone. And he said touchdowns, not field goals.
Take a look at Barney Cotton, the offensive coordinator for Nebraska. Whistle blow, penalty flag is thrown. Hold everything. Don't run out of juice yet, David.
I think Nebraska was moving around a little bit, get a legal procedure against the Huskers.
Well, Mr. Juszczyk's going to need to get an umbrella.
Start. Offense.
I'm hoping he's not sweating.
And you know what Mrs. Juszczyk's thinking at home right now?
He's going to come home sick tomorrow, want to lay in bed.
Yeah, but why is my man out there wearing electronic equipment in this kind of rain? You know, I always told, don't wear that kind of stuff when it's wet.
That's right. That's right. Now Frank Solich has done a great job this year, and it's been publicized a lot about getting rid of some assistants and some retiring and picking up 6 new assistants. But as Charles, you touched on earlier, they have meshed, especially Barney Cotton, this offensive coordinator.
It's been incredible. You talk with Nebraska observers of the program, they talk about how seamless the transition has been.
On 2nd down and 8. Lord looking for some running room, just past the tuck, and Atia Ellison, this junior out of St. Louis, Missouri, comes up with his first stop of the game. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Home Depot.
Another big 3rd down for the Missouri defense coming up here. They have their pass rush unit into the ball game. That means number 39, Brian Smith, and also probably their nickel package, which they can play anyway because they usually have 5 defensive backs on the field in their base defense.
You see what Nebraska has done on 3rd down. 2nd and 3.
You almost want to have Jamal Lord throw the ball rather than have him use his legs to scramble out of the pocket. He's very dangerous when he does that.
Second at 2nd and 8. 3rd down and 8. Lord, straight drop, pass complete up to the 20-yard line. 1st down for Matt Harrion.
And he makes me look foolish yet again. Jamal Lord in the pocket, using his arm to get the 1st down.
That's okay. I couldn't get the 1st down marker right. Now, Bo Cotton, and this is one of the receivers that they love going to, and Bo Cotton telling us you're going to remember this young man's name a couple of years from now.
Well, what he also got on that play was great pass protection from his offensive line. By the time Missouri got there, he was able to set up and find Matt Harrion, who is his favorite target because he can stretch a defense right down the middle of the field.
Yeah, great speed and great size at 6'5". Go back to the running game, straight up ahead. And it is David Horn again out of Omaha, Nebraska. Here's a young man that last year we had the Nebraska A&M game at College Station, and he ignited the offense in that game. He was outstanding.
He was, and remember, they took the red shirt off of him almost 3/4 of the way through the season because they felt they needed to get their run game kicked into a higher gear. But this fall, Josh Davis came back in great shape and beat him out of the starting I-back spot.
David Horn adds a lot of quickness in that backfield. Nice 1-2 combination with Davis and Horn.
And a good 1st down run by Horn picks up a 1st down for the Huskers.
2 wide receivers to the right. Peets is the tight end. Wiley in motion. Keep it on the ground, straight ahead running. Horn dipping and doodling, gets close to the 40-yard line. Well, the NBA returns to TNT this Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern time as LeBron James and the Cavs take on Shaq and the new look Los Angeles Lakers. It's the NBA on TNT. EJ's got a full week, doesn't he?
He always has a full week, but if anyone can handle it,
it's EJ. Good 1st down run for the Huskers. Stay on schedule.
It allows the playbook to be open for Barney Cotton, the offensive coordinator.
But they go straight ahead running. Another 1st down by the Huskers. David Horn again. Jason Simpson on the stop. And this is a Nebraska team that's about plus 9 minutes a game as far as time of possession.
And Barney Cotton, you've mentioned it before. He wanted the offensive line slimmer and trimmer. Watch these guys. Watch the way that they move the defensive front of Missouri. Nice gash. Picked up the linebackers also. They get into the secondary before Jason Simpson has to make the tackle downfield. That's exactly what the Huskers want to see in the run game.
When Barney Cotton took over, the first thing he said, that's huge. First thing he said is, we're too fat and slow on the offensive line.
Yeah, they're 312 now. Imagine what they were last year.
That's right. Horn trying to find the 50-yard line, is able to get to it. Pickup of about 2 on the play. As the rain continues to fall here in Columbia, Phil Pitts on the stop.
See, that's more like it for Missouri on first down in the run game with Nebraska. Only picking up 2 yards, now 2nd and 8. Much more of a long distance call now for Barney Cotton. Although the way Nebraska's been moving the defensive front of Missouri, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay with the run here and continue to try and pound it out and pick up a first down on 2nd and 3rd down.
And Matt Harrion is checked back into the game at tight end as Nebraska sends 2 wide receivers to the right. Horn will go from the shotgun. They keep it on the ground, and a wall forms for Horn. Close to the first down marker. Might be just a shade short. Atia Ellison coming up to make the stop. Now we've had a pretty good quarter. We've had a couple of turnovers and a couple of touchdowns. First 15 minutes is complete in Columbia, Missouri. And the Tigers snap the 24-game losing skid. They're tied at 7 at the end of 1. Welcome back to college football on TBS, part of Big PlayStation Saturday. As we get set to start the second quarter, we are tied up at 7 with the 10th-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Missouri Tigers. Along with Craig Sager and Charles Davis, I'm Ron Thulin, welcoming you back to a sold-out Faurot field, and it is wet. Nobody is left as Nebraska now facing 3rd down and 2 from about the 44-yard line.
Coming right at you.
Lord keeps it, leans forward, but we're not going to count that play. Bring it back. You know, we see a lot of players with gloves on. We saw it in the Miami-Florida State game today. Do gloves really help when it's this wet?
I can't imagine that they do.
Good ball. Full start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
See Frank Solich in our super shot. Most gloves have what they call a tackified surface on the hands part. And in this kind of weather, that's going to get wiped out by the rain. It's just going to make it slicker. So if a lot of guys keep gloves on, linemen, it doesn't matter because they're not handling the ball. A lot of guys keep them on because that's what they're used to. And so we'll just have to see how it goes. They'll probably be changing gloves as they go along, trying to always have a dry set on.
Check that now to 3rd down and 7. Lord will go back to the shotgun. The backs go out. Protection is there. Lord sees an opening using his speed, and he is going to be short of the first down, ushered out at about the 43-yard line. Ellison again on the tackle. That is his 3rd of the ball game.
And he's really pursuing hard from inside. Defensive tackle last year, a defensive end, and they didn't get the production they thought they would get from him. As soon as they moved him inside, he was a lot more comfortable. He's a big guy who takes up space, and this year already he has a sack. Last year, no sacks at all, rushing from the defensive end position, a primary spot to go after the quarterback, and here's Nebraska going for it on 4th and short.
Well, this year they're 5 of 8 on 4th down.
If I'm Nebraska, I line up and I bring my fullback number 4, Davies, right there. Let him come up in here and block and give it to my back.
2 tight ends. Horn is behind Davies. We have another penalty flag, some more movement. Nebraska not that bad of a team as far as penalties, about 7 a game.
And the ball's being mishandled a few times too. You notice the last 2 snaps with Jamal Lord, they've not been taken clean from the center.
Dead ball. Snap infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Now that changes the strategy.
Yeah, now you have to punt the football. And if you're Missouri, you tell your punt returner, put your heels on the 10 and don't back up. And be very careful handling the football. And you see again, notice where the ball is? Popping out, even though the penalty was called. Again, not a clean quarterback center exchange. Jamal Lord's gonna have to get together with Josh Sewell over on the sidelines and make sure they get that down.
Kyle Larson's first punt was about 22 yards. Marcus James now on the 10.
See how he's got his heel, he's back there, he's got his heels right on the 10. I'm sure his coach told him, don't back up.
The rush was on. Larson gets it away. He's done a great job getting it inside the 20. And he's going to have a beautiful punt that'll be stopped dead at the 5-yard line. A 43-yard kick for Kyle Larson, the senior out of Funk, Nebraska. That is his 12th inside the 20.
Great punt.
4 turnovers in an opening quarter, Charles.
Yeah, and that's been the story of the ball game. That's led to points for both teams. There's Josh Bullocks with the first interception of the game. Josh Davis fumbling the punt. James Kinney, number 24, recovering it from Missouri. They scored off of that turnover. And there, Jack O'Halloran fumbling the pooch kickoff before the interception by DeMario Williams when Missouri had tried to take advantage of the fumbled kickoff by Jack O'Halloran.
Now Missouri takes over, first and 10 from their own 5-yard line. They'll try to get out of this hole running the football up to the 8-yard line. Abram again. Let's check back into the lineup. You know, we saw Missouri come out in that first series. First 3 plays were passes. They were running the bootleg. You have a tendency, you didn't get what you want in that first series. Maybe you start pulling it back and becoming more conservative. I know, obviously, where they are has something to do with it.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. That's what's going to happen now. They have to kind of go turtle a little bit. You don't want to turn the ball over deep in your territory. Worst case scenario, punt it out and let your defense play again. But if anything, Nebraska has an advantage in terms of field position. They can force a 3-and-out here.
Smith looking for some running room. He is dangerous as he gets up to the 13-yard line. DeMario Williams coming up to make the stop.
Yeah, I don't think that Missouri needs to all of a sudden go into a shell out in the open field, Ron. I think that right now you've got to be very careful. Here they get put in the hands of their best playmaker. Nice block knocking off Patrick Kabongo's helmet, number 94 for Nebraska. But look at the pursuit by the black shirts. Bernard Thomas, number 5 from the back. DeMario Williams, number 7 over the top. And that guy there, number 7, that you saw on the screen before Kabongo went off, he's playing as well as any linebacker in the country as we speak.
On 3rd down, boy, you can hear the pass popping up here, leaning up to the 15-yard line. And Smith, he's got the first down. T.J. Hollowell came up to make the stop.
And I'll bet you that Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, told his offensive line when they went out for this series, you know something, guys? We have to find a way. And there's Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator. We have to find a way to run the football when they know we're going to run the football. I don't care if there are 8 or 9 guys in the box. We've got to find a way to make some first downs and at least help field position to give our defense a chance if they have to go back on the field.
Bottom line is this offensive line very disappointed with their play last week or 2 weeks ago against Kansas, so they were challenged this week. Keeping it on the ground, the hole is there. Another first down for the Tigers. Zach Abram. Maybe in Washington finally tripping him up, and not before he gets the first and then some.
Look at how the offensive line blocks this play. Because what they do is they block it everything going this way, and the running back cuts back that way on the handoff. Kind of bringing it back against the grain. See how they move the line to your left? Bringing it back across the face of the defensive line. Nice run from Missouri, first down.
Against Illinois and Kansas this year, the 2 big teams from the superpowers, they only averaged about 210 yards and 18 points. They need to do better at that. Smith has time, being rushed. He'll just throw it away. Pass will go incomplete. He was outside of the tackle. Barrett Ruud is the one who was putting the quarterback pressure on Smith. Does Smith have a tendency to overanalyze? Last year they kept it fairly simple for him, but they gave him more responsibility this year.
Well, again, we saw at the top of the game, 137 consecutive passes without an interception. But all he's heard for the last 2 or 3 weeks is, we don't take enough chances. It's been in the media, it's been on talk radio, it's been everywhere. I think that might have had something to do with a couple of those forced passes early in the ball game. That last pass, much more indicative of how Brad Smith takes care of the football.
2-step drop, a little look in is good to Thompson. Omoga again, his 3rd reception. That could be another first down. And he may be a tad short. Nope, they're saying it is first down.
Now I think that Brad Smith, who's always been a cool customer, has calmed down a little bit, because you can't avoid the hype. 24 straight years without being Nebraska. We have a chance to knock up the #1 defense in the country. He might have been a little tight at the start. I think he's settling in pretty well now.
Nebraska rushes 4. Missouri keeps it on the ground, trying the right side, maybe picking up 3 on the play. Zach Abram again.
Let me go back to a point I made at the start of this drive. Even if Missouri doesn't get another first down now and has to punt the football, and they're successful in being able to punt it, don't get it blocked, all of that, they have changed field position already. Look at where we are with the ball now. Started deep in their own territory. They're second and 7 now on their own 41. Even if you punt it, now Nebraska has to go the long way as opposed to getting it on this side of the 50.
Nice 2nd down and 7. Another first down for Missouri. I tell you, Brad Smith can really motor it. You know, Nebraska's only given up about 73 yards running the football, and right now, Missouri is closing in on that mark.
Well, what's nice about it, this is the zone play. Fake it inside to the fullback. When the defensive end crashes, get into the secondary. And what was great about that play is Brad Smith made the read and was very definite in his move into the secondary. No hesitation, no extra wiggle, made the fake, boom, into the second and third level of the Nebraska defense.
Now we have Lornell McPherson coming off a little shaken up on the play, and there's Bo Pelini, who's done such an outstanding job. Came from the NFL where he was a linebackers coach. Came in with a whole new attitude. He said, listen, we're going to get slimmer, we're going to get tougher, we're going to get more physical, we're going to run to the football, we're going to take people's heads off, and the players have really taken to it.
And I don't care what was asked of you before, whatever I ask of you, you're just going to do, and if you don't, there's the door. And it was very simple, and the guys bought into it, and they played well since he's gotten on campus.
Another 1st and 10 for Missouri. Nice offensive set. That's a lateral. Looking for another pass. Outlaw's going to throw it back. Oh, they've got a big wall. Smith, touchdown Tigers. Conservative, it's right here. This is called everything out of the playbook.
Remember, we saw earlier in the ball games, we look at Dave Christensen again, the offensive coordinator. What did we see earlier? The reverse pass with Outlaw. Remember what I said? Out in the field, you have more space, don't you? And look at that. And look at the wall of black-shirted blockers getting out in front and creating space for Brad Smith.
And the extra point is good. Outlaw to Smith. The Tigers have taken the lead. Not too many people will have a 9-play, 95-yard drive on this Nebraska defense, but the Missouri Tigers have done it, and they've taken the lead 14-7. 10:57 left to play in quarter number 2. Davis is back to receive the kick.
See if they do the pooch kick again.
Yeah.
Rain is slackened a little bit, but it's still wet out there. Let's see if they try it again.
Holleran dropped it the last time. This time they drill it. It's going to go out. We'll have a penalty flag thrown, and Nebraska will have good field position. I have a feeling Missouri used the speed of Nebraska against them on that touchdown.
Great point, because it's great to have good pursuit. Watch what Missouri does is they motion to, they have a trips formation. Now watch when we stop it right here. There's 3 blocks, but watch Nebraska. All the white-shirted deep defenders are coming to this side of the field. Here's where Missouri's forming their blocking lane back on the other side of the field. Watch the throwback from Darius Outlaw, as we mentioned before, a former quarterback. He hits Brad Smith. Only one guy has a chance, Pat Ricketts. He's wiped out. Brad Smith steps through the block, and he goes to the end zone. A 95-yard drive for a touchdown by the Missouri Tigers.
Well, it's fired up this crowd of 68,000 plus. The pitch back to Horn. He has some running room, crosses the 40, lowers the head, gets up to about the 48-yard line. Pick up a 13 on the play. Nebraska's not a team to panic, though.
No, and nor should they. And Ron Brown, their wide receivers coach, does a great job of teaching his receivers to block. Watch out in front of David Horn, what you're going to get downfield. All right? Right there, number 24, Jack O'Halloran. He had held his block the whole run up until the end, giving David Horn the corner to get to.
Straight ahead running, crossing the 50, it is David Horn. Let's check in Studio A with EJ and a little LSU. Ernie.
Yeah, Ron, a couple of SEC teams ranked in the top 10 lost for the first time today. LSU beaten at home by Florida. That's Chris Leak, the Seatric face-on. 19-7 the Gators over LSU. And unbeaten Arkansas lost at home to Auburn. Cadillac Williams 150 yards. That's the game's only touchdown. Auburn over Arkansas 10-3. Back to you, Ron.
I'm telling you what, it's dangerous being ranked nowadays, isn't it? What a crazy season. Lord keeps it, finds a little bit of running room. He's able to get the first down as he is stacked up at about the 42-yard line. I mean, think about it. You know, here Texas gets whacked today, and you have LSU losing. My goodness gracious, and Houston not losing in Arkansas.
It's been a topsy-turvy year already, and there's plenty left.
Of football left.
You know, some new people are going to enter the top 25, and they're going to be taken down also. You know, it's almost like some teams can't stand prosperity. If we take a look at Jamal Lord, the quarterback, you talked about being the most second-guessed quarterback in Nebraska history. He made more out of that last run than I thought was there. I thought that Missouri had a bunch of tacklers around him, and he continued to get downfield into the secondary.
Well, Lord, the senior, already graduated with a degree in communication. The pitch back to Horn. He is going to be stacked up. That's the Missouri defense that they wanted to see. This telecast is a copyrighted presentation of the University of Missouri, a member of the Big 12 Conference. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the University of Missouri or the Big 12 Conference.
You say that so smooth. And you know,
that was in Reader's Digest about a month ago, disseminated. Yeah, I figured what it meant.
Word power.
Word power.
There's James Kinney. All right, James Kinney's the leading tackler for Missouri. One thing they need from him, more big plays. He's given them one already with the recovery on the fumbled punt.
Loss of 1, second down at 11. Lord throws it out on the flat to LaFleur. He closes in on the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 31-yard line. Nino Williams, the second on the stop.
Did this play look familiar? This is the play that they ran for the touchdown. Very simple. Jamal Lord in the shotgun. One step, fire it out to LaFleur. There's a great block by Pilkington, number 2. Another block by Tim Liley, number 13. We talked about the blocking wide receivers for Nebraska. Evidence of it on that play led to third and very short. Quarterback sneak or give it to your eye back here.
Well, you've got the Hosses up front to do it on third down and about a foot. Pre-walled in motion, an extra blocker. They give it to the eye back, and it's a first down for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. David Horn just lowering the head. This is a Nebraska offense when Barney Cotton took over, said, I want to be a little more balanced. They haven't gotten the balance they've wanted this year, but I think what they're getting now is a little improvement, and Barney Cotton would probably take that.
What he's learned is that, you know, he said Barney Cotton's formula was throw the ball 35% of the time, quarterback 55% completion percentage, all those things. He's not worried about that anymore. He's worried about winning ball games and playing to the strengths of the players that he has. Look at the ratings there, rushing number 6 in the country.
A little pitch out to Horn. He crosses the 30, gets away from one tackler inside the 20-yard line. David Horn, the sophomore out of Omaha. He's a young man. At the end of last year, he was probably 180 and change running the football, and they were questioning his durability. He knew he had to bulk up.
Well, if you play at Nebraska, you're going to bulk up because they have one of the best strength and conditioning programs in the country, now led by Brian Bailey. And he's getting a lot of credit from players past and present about Nebraska's conditioning this year and how well they've started this season.
Second down and short, especially in the fourth quarter for this Nebraska team. Liley in motion. Keep it on the ground. Horn first down, closes towards the 12-yard line. This is a classic methodical drive by Nebraska.
And it points out what you said before. No panic on Nebraska's side. They've had a couple of errors along the way, some fumbled kickoffs and punts. They've gotten down on the scoreboard, but again, they just came back out very methodical on offense, handling a wet football very well, and the offensive line chopping big holes in the defensive front of Missouri.
Frank Solich no longer calling the plays.
Yeah, but don't believe he doesn't have input. He's still listening.
Yeah.
If he wants for something called, he can still make that play.
You got that right. First down and 10. You can hear the thumping. Ball is loose. I think Missouri may have it.
I didn't hear a whistle when he went down.
I didn't hear it, and the Tigers do have the football. Third fumble loss for the Huskers in the opening half.
But just as I gave credit to Nebraska for handling the football well in these conditions, there's the first hit. There's the second one. And did I say that James Kinney needed to make big plays for this defense? He caused the fumble. Forced fumble by their best inside linebacker, number 24, Kinney. Great job. Looked like Nino Williams, the second, number 22, with the recovery.
That's his second of the game, as a matter of fact. And you can see the turnover situation. And that is what Gary Pinkel really turned around. It began really last year with that defense. Very opportunistic defense. And they wanted 3 takeaways. Well, I'll tell you, you got them, guys.
Let's see if Missouri's offensive line is going to give Smith time on this play.
It's not wasting any time as a receiver open up to the 30-yard line. It is Darius Outlaw, who already has a touchdown pass thrown, his first since 2001.
Did someone tell us that Missouri had been conservative in their play calling this year? Because they sold us a bill of goods, didn't they?
Yeah.
Dave Christensen again backed up deep in his own territory after the turnover, pushes the ball downfield to Darius Outlaw, who's going to increase his 6 yards per catch average that he had coming into this ball game.
6:40 to play in the first half. They go back to the run game. And it is Damian Nash. He crosses the 35-yard line. Now Brad Smith, the sophomore out of Youngstown, Ohio, is doing everything tonight.
Yeah, forget the 2 turnovers. He's starting to settle into this game well. Nice strike to Thompson Umboga. And then downfield, as you mentioned everything, there's an interception in the second one to DeMario Williams. But now he's starting to get his game back together. The double pass to Darius Outlaw, back to Brad Smith, and he's got himself a convoy into the end zone.
He already has more rushing and passing yards than he did against Kansas, and he adds to the rushing total as he gets up above the 40 to the 44-yard line. Give Missouri another first down. And we saw something that Brad Smith did on that play that he didn't do last year, and that's know when to be physical and when to hit the deck.
And you know, they've talked with Brad Smith a tremendous amount about how important he is to this team. And Gary Pinkel, his head coach, has been preaching to him just what you said. Know when to slide, know when to be physical. But you know something? I think this whole week, they've just talked about Brad Smith getting into the secondary and making plays, kind of taking the shackles off of this young man and turning him loose.
Smith running the option, keeps it, leans forward to the 45-yard line. Pick up about 3 on the play. You know, when we had a chance to sit down with Gary Pinkel back, I believe it was July at the Big 12 meetings, you know, we were asking him about, you know, what about his offense? He says, well, bottom line is you got to keep the ball in the hands of Brad Smith, period.
And when you do, good things happen. Gary Pinkel had a very successful run at Toledo as the head coach there, won some big ball games, beat some BCS conference teams. Remember, they went to Penn State one year and beat Joe Pa, and that sent shockwaves. Built a great program, and he's well on his way to building an excellent program here at Missouri.
A little bit of jumping on the left side. Now this Nebraska defense, as we mentioned, under Bo Pelini, #1 in the country. But let's see what they're doing tonight and for the year. How about the first half tonight? 148 yards passing. They're only allowing 146 a game for the season. They're already over the total yards tonight too, Charles.
The big one is points. You know, 7.6 for the game, already having given up 14. They knew Missouri was a good ball club, but turnovers have played a big part into putting Nebraska's defense back on their heels a little bit.
You know, Missouri's had the ball about 4 less minutes than Nebraska, and they've had 2 more plays, but they're coming up with that big play when they need it.
Yeah, and remember where Missouri's getting the football in some of these situations too.
Up to midfield is Darius Outlaw, who came in with 21 receptions. Lornell McPherson on the stop. I tell you, Outlaw, they were looking for that one receiver to step up. They were hoping it would be Outlaw. They were hoping it would be Sean Coffey, but I think Darius Outlaw's taken up where Justin Gage left off.
Well, he's had to, you know, because as we mentioned before, 6 yards a catch for a guy that talented is not acceptable in their offensive scheme. He's heard all the criticism. He wants to play big when the TV lights come on, and thus far tonight, he's done that.
On 3rd and short, Smith keeps it, rolls. That play just took a little bit too long. Lornell McPherson's the one who really tied things up for the Nebraska Blackshirts, his 2nd tackle of the night. Now what do you do?
I think in this situation, you punt the ball away. You're up 14-7. I want to play field position here.
Good point.
You know, I know the Missouri crowd wants them to go for it, but you don't keep playing with fire in field position against a Nebraska team who just had a great drive against your defense. You want them to go the long way, which helps contribute sometimes to turnovers if you have to handle the ball too many times.
Brock Harvey at his 37-yard line. Davis back at the 8, and it's a low end-over-end kick away from Davis. It'll sneak inside the 20-yard line, and that's where Nebraska will take over with 4:06 left in the half. We've got ourselves a ball game. Number 10 Nebraska trailing Missouri.
Missouri leads Nebraska 14-7. The last time the Tigers beat the Cornhuskers, 1978. The coach of Missouri, a former Cornhusker player by the name of Warren Powers, honored tonight along with over 80 of his former players, actually given a ride off the field. He's with us now. Hey, Coach, first of all, your thoughts on this game right here, 14-7.
Oh, I think it's a great football game you got here. Both teams playing very hard. You can tell by the turnovers, they're forcing a lot. And it'll go down to the last minute. There's those big play players on both sides.
Coaches always talk about team chemistry, friendships for life with some of their players. What did it mean to you to have 80 of your players out there tonight and actually have them put you on their shoulders and carry you off?
Well, I didn't want them to drop me, one thing, but no, we had a great time. It was a great reunion. You know, that's what this is all about. We haven't been together in 20 years, and these guys loved it. You know, they played hard for me. We had fun. We had success, and getting back here and having this reunion was just tremendous. They had a great time, and I know I did.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Under Warren Powers, they went to 5 bowl games in 7 years, huh?
All right, Jamal Lord picks up 19 on the ground. Then he hits his tight end, Matt Harrion, with a first down pass. 3:38 to play in the second. 21 yards on the game.
Jamal Lord keeps throwing the football this way. Watch it. This is a waggle pass. Jamal Lord faking one way, coming back. See how he set and then clutched and then gave Matt Harrion time to cross behind the defenders and stuck it in there. That was a good-looking pass.
Oh, yeah.
He keeps throwing the ball this way. You may have to revise the book on Nebraska. And if he can continue to throw the ball that well, that just opens up the playbook again for Barney Cotton and the offensive scheme for the Huskers.
That's right, an incomplete pass yet. They keep it on the ground. Absolutely nothing going on there as the Missouri defense, which is probably the fastest and most athletic lineup since Gary Pinkel has been there, puts the stop on him.
Yeah, would they tell us 8 guys playing that started the season as starters on defense that either were new starters or playing a different position?
And they move people around, too.
Oh, move around like crazy. Brandon Barnes, number 21, their linebacker, was a free safety last year, and prior to that was a wide receiver. Now he's one of their leading tacklers.
Closing in on 3 minutes, second down and 10. Lord keeps it, leans forward, maybe picks up a couple on the play. Our first and 10 line is brought to you by the Home Depot. Yeah, I think we may have had a timeout call. No, we've got a player hurt. Well, A.J. Kincaid looks like he got a little hitch in his get-along there. They're going to take a look at him at the far side, and they're saying, let's get this thing going. They're going to keep playing. Kincaid still on the field. Now one the far side official saying, let's wait a minute. We've got a hurt player standing here. Once again, if an update becomes available on A.J. Kincaid's condition, we'll pass it along to you.
Another third and long situation. Pass rushers coming into the game. That means Brian Smith, number 39 for Missouri. We haven't really called his name tonight other than to keep an eye out for him. But this is the situation that they'll need him. There's Calvin Washington, number 17, who was the starting corner up until this evening when A.J. Kincaid replaced him in the lineup. Washington back on the field now, replacing Kincaid, who just limped off with an injury. Another third down that Missouri needs to find a way to get off the field. Matt Eberflug, their defensive coordinator. Let's see what he has concocted for Barney Cotton's offense.
Well, Brian Smith, the redshirt freshman out of Denton, Texas. They nicknamed him Slippery because he's slim but slippery. They're going to need him now as Lord's got the play, comes in. 2:40 to play in the half, 18 to snap it.
Smith, 35 sacks his senior year in high school.
They've had to get at least 6 yards on third down so far tonight for Nebraska. 2 wide receivers to the right. Lord tucks it, keeps it, has running room. Close to the marker, but he's run out of bounds. Great job by Missouri's Jason Simpson. I thought Lord was going to cut it up midfield. It looked like he had a little lane there.
Yeah, it appeared that way, but I think what he saw was Missouri pursuing from inside out, and all of a sudden there was a wall of tacklers coming towards him, so he bent it back to the sideline. Every time Jamal Lord is flushed today from the pocket, he's been able to do it up the middle. Nice straight arm, but a good job by Jason Simpson, forcing him to the sidelines, and it appears that Nebraska is going to punt the football away and play field position themselves.
Well, they had to think about it for a couple of seconds, and Frank Solich really is in charge of the kickoff and punt teams, and he decided to make the decision. Marcus James is back on his 10.
If you're Missouri, you've got to play punt safe and watch the fake.
Kyle Larson is not going to fake it. 2 steps, and he booms this one. Kiss it goodbye. Well, he already has one inside the 20. Couldn't get that one to drop. Finn with 2:13 left to play in the first half. Nebraska holding on to a touchdown advantage, or Missouri holding on to a touchdown advantage. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left to play in this half. Missouri leading Nebraska 14-7. Missouri with all 3 timeouts remaining. Do they play conservative now, Charles?
Well, I think that you keep the ball in the hands of Brad Smith, as they just did. Again, a zone running play. Fake it inside to the fullback. Read the defensive end. If he crashes down to the fullback, you keep it and run the football. You know, if you're going to do any type of run pass action, keep it in the hands of number 16 and let him make the decisions. He usually makes good ones, because the worst thing you can do is turn the ball over here right before the half and give Nebraska something cheap and change momentum to start the second half.
Now you really test that offensive line of Missouri. Say, gentlemen, let's just try to get a first down and go to the locker room. Smith, he's not going to do anything with it but run. A little bit of an opening, leans forward to the 30. He may have the first down. Demorial Williams on the stop. Just a reminder to stick around for our Chili's halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Brian Bosworth will catch you up on all of today's action, including the Oklahoma Sooners beating the Texas Longhorns for the 4th consecutive year. How about Miami beating Florida State, LSU losing today, and all the scores from around the country with EJ and Boz. 4 or 5 inches to go. And as we close in on 1 minute to play in the half, Gary Pinkel's squad says, let's just keep the clock running, gentlemen.
And it looks like they're going no huddle at this point also. Just coming line, hoping to catch Nebraska unaware, but the black shirt defense of Nebraska back and set.
From the shotgun. Into the flat, incomplete pass. Earlier we saw A.J. Kincaid get injured. Craig Sager, you have an update on him.
They've taken him in the locker room to get a little early work on him here at halftime. Right now, the preliminary report is a possible sprained right knee, but they also have said that it is possible he could return in the second half.
Good news. Kincaid, the sophomore out of St. Louis, 59 ticks left here in quarter number 2. A lot of turnovers in this football game. Nebraska's lost 3 fumbles. They've put it on the ground 3 times. Missouri has thrown a couple of interceptions. Free to snap it. Smith rifles the pass, and that was dangerously close. Darius outlawed the intended receiver. T.J. Hollowell was right there on the coverage. That's not conservative with this much time left.
No, you know, when we say conservative, we're thinking of running the football inside, letting the clock tick off. But the passes they're throwing, they're getting downfield about 10 yards or so on the break. The tough part is you're going to leave time on the clock if you don't pick up a first down here. I think what they're counting on is that Nebraska's not a known hurry-up team, a 2-minute type of offense.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. Not in their history. Smith straight ahead. He's going to be stacked up, see if Nebraska burns a timeout, because that'll set up a 4th down situation.
I would.
They do.
Would, and try and get my punt return unit on the field and try and get a big return or go for the block here at the end of the first half.
46 seconds left to play in the half, but it's time for the fan rant, brought to you by Kia Motors, which reminds you to make every mile count.
We've got the Huskers of Nebraska versus the Tigers of Missouri. Ligia Bakia! Tiger football! Tomate, tomate, cora, cora. Tomate, tomate, cora, cora. Tanate, tanata. Hulu, hulu, nana, hitite.
That's the haka dance.
Beg pardon?
That's the haka dance, the native dance of the Maori tribe in New Zealand. And my man was getting them ready here in Missouri for the haka. Now, no one knew what he was talking about.
Not a clue.
But they did get the idea that he liked Missouri. So I'm giving it to him. Anybody can bring an international flavor to the rant gets my vote. Now, it's better for me when I see food.
There you go.
All right, you give me food, I like the rant better.
That's it. I tell you, Taz did it. Well, 4th down, they're going to kick it away as the rain starts up again here in Columbia. This is off the side of the foot.
And he has not been consistent all year long. Brock Harvey, after having a sensational year last year, and that was the time they needed a good punt from him. And after his first one, his last couple have not been very impressive.
21 yards on the kick, and Nebraska will have good field position and 40 seconds to work. Now, Gary Pinkel's squad was telling us that they had a great 2 weeks of practice, probably the best 2 weeks they've had this year, and it's showing so far in the first 30 minutes of play.
And I'm interested to see what Barney Cotton does here in this situation. Ball's on the 50. Nebraska not known as really a straight drop back throw team and more play action. And they go back to the screen to LaFleur.
How about 4 wide receiver set, huh? You don't see that with Nebraska very often.
Is this Nebraska?
Yeah, that's right.
Are these the Huskers? But even out of the 4 receiver set, it's still a very safe pass that was called for Jamal Lord. You know, ordinarily you get into the 4 receiver set, you try and get the ball downfield. Nebraska, again, throwing the ball laterally, hoping to pick up a block, make a juke, and another big play. That was how they scored their first touchdown.
Final 36 seconds. They empty the backfield out again. 4 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Lord, the quick pass, and the communication was a little down. Mark LaFleur was the intended receiver. I think Lord was hoping he'd go out.
I think, frankly, you know what I think happened? He just threw it behind him. I don't think he was thinking he was going to come out. I think that LaFleur just went inside, and Lord just threw it to the outside on the slant route. You see how he's done tonight. 5 of 6 passing. Those are excellent numbers for Jamal Lord.
His first incomplete pass. 3 seconds to snap it. They're going to have to hustle. Yep. Lord throws it out in the flat. Little pick play complete to LaFleur. Had some running room. Scampers out of bounds with 27 seconds left to play in the first half. Picks up 10 on the play.
This play looks like it should be dead. Watch right here, Dedrick Harrington. He's right up into Isaiah Fluellen, number 28, and you would think that he would go ahead and knock him off the ball. But he's not able to. Excellent block downfield by Nebraska. Fluellen able to spring LaFleur. I thought that play was dead on the spot based on the defensive presence of the defensive back.
If you're a wide receiver in Nebraska, you better know how to block, or Ron Brown, the receiver's coach, will not play you, period. End of the story.
Ron Brown's in such good shape, he could go block all of them right now.
Yeah, we'll listen in as a penalty will go against the Huskers.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
27 seconds left to play in the first half.
Now, this is not your classic 2-minute offense going downfield with 1 minute on the clock, but you know something? They're putting themselves in position to at least have a field goal attempt at the end of the half. Very safe short passes, and they're getting nice chunks of yardage when the ball's completed.
Clock won't start till the snap. 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The pass complete inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. Ross Pilkington, the former minor league baseball player, with his first reception of the evening.
And they'll go hurry up on this one. Try and get to the line of scrimmage, see if he spikes it here. They have
Nebraska with 1 timeout left.
They have time now to call a play if they want to.
Pick up of 27 on the play. Lord will just spike it down with 18 seconds left to play in the first half.
3 verticals here. Vertical, vertical, and this is where Pilkington goes, and that's where the ball is going to go with Jamal Lord. Watch, everybody just goes upfield. Pilkington getting inside the 2 defensive backs. Excellent throw by Jamal Lord. Not enough depth by one of the what they call outside safeties, the whip or the rover. Didn't get enough depth on his drop. and Lord tossed it perfectly right over the top in between the two of them.
Well, Missouri played a lot of man-to-man last year, now playing a little bit more zone, and Hilton just found the zone.
Yeah, if I play actually a lot more zone. If I play in zone 85 to 90% of the time, as opposed to playing man-to-man that amount last season.
On second down, clock continues to tick. Lord looking, still looking, throwing, had a man open and didn't get it to him. LaFleur was wide open at the 5-yard line, and he short-hopped it.
And that's where Jamal Lord gets the heavy criticism, because it's always a matter of what have you done for me lately. The last pass, he looks so good. Here he has a wide open receiver that give him great yardage downfield. LaFleur would have been able to catch the ball and get upfield or get out of bounds. Wide open, he flat out missed it. You know, that's where the Husker fans have that love-hate relationship with Jamal Lord. Love him when he makes big plays, and then you see a wide open receiver unable to convert.
Third down, 11 seconds in the half. Lord looking in the end zone for pay dirt. A lot of pushing and shoving. No penalty flag is thrown. The intended receiver was LaFleur. Now with 7 seconds left, brings up a 4th down, and the Nebraska field goal team will come out.
Yeah, nice coverage by Michael Harden, number 26, the corner, trying to throw the fade ball in that situation. And although Nebraska's going to go off the field with getting only a field goal attempt, I thought it was an excellent drive led by Jamal Lord to put them in position for David Dyke's attempt.
David Dyke still spotted at the 20. It'll be a 30-yard field goal. He's 3 for 5 between 30 and 39. Good snap, good hold, and good kick. So the man that had 4 field goals versus Utah State and Penn State pulls the Huskers 14-10 with 2 seconds left to play in the half. Well, our next telecast will come your way next Saturday night at 10 o'clock Eastern time as the 24th ranked Oregon State Beavers host the Washington Huskies in a Pac-10 battle that'll be coming your way from Corvallis, Oregon. Charles and Sager and Aaron Andrews and I will be there. Aaron will be back with us next week. You could see some pretty good quarterbacks in that football game too, Charles.
Yeah, between Cody Pickett of Washington and Derek Anderson of Oregon State, who's starting to develop with all that potential. Had a 5-interception game earlier this year against Fresno State in their only loss. He's really bounced back since then, but Steven Jackson, their tailback, is the guy for Oregon State. Handed to him 30 times, and good things happen for the Beavers. Richard Siegler, the middle linebacker, is a heck of a player.
Oh, my. He is all over the field. That'll be coming your way 10 o'clock Eastern time next Saturday night. But our business at hand tonight, Nebraska, number 10 in the country. They have owned Missouri for the better part of 25 years, 30 years here in Columbia, and they're trailing right now.
You know,
they've only trailed in 1 game this year. That was the Penn State game. They trailed 10-9 at halftime.
And came back, obviously, and won that ball game as they're undefeated. You know, if you're going to say anything, any type of criticism of Missouri in the first half, the only thing you could probably point to is what they did in their last series. Instead of running out the clock, gave Nebraska a chance to go downfield and kick a field goal before the half.
Well, that's the way the first half is going to end up, in a good 30 minutes for the Missouri Tigers trying to snap that 24-game losing skid to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Missouri heads to the locker room leading 14-10. Craig Sager is standing by with Gary Pinkel. Sags.
Well, Coach, you have the lead, but how disappointing are you that you didn't run out the clock and you gave them a chance to score before the half?
Well, we were going to go for it. We're going to try to score points. That's what we're going to try to do. But you know, you can't. A 20-yard punt doesn't work very well. And obviously, they got a little momentum back.
Not going to play conservative in the second half. You feel like
we got to go for it. We're trying to win a football game.
All right, thanks a lot, Ron.
All right, Craig, that concludes the first half of college football on TBS, a part of Big PlayStation Saturday. Now let's go to Ernie Johnson and Brian Bosworth back in our studios in Atlanta. Welcome back to college football on TBS, part of Big PlayStation Saturday as we get set to start the third quarter. The Missouri Tigers lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers 14-10, only the second time this year Nebraska has trailed at halftime thanks in part to 3 turnovers by the Huskers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Ron Thulin. We've talked a lot about that Nebraska defense, but it's been the Missouri defense that has really caused the problems tonight.
They've been opportunistic, haven't they? You know, knocking balls free when they get an opportunity. And, of course, in the kick game, that's where it's been big for Missouri because Nebraska's had trouble handling it on punt and kickoff returns. You take a look at the defense. They've been moving very quickly to the football. Nebraska's had some success running the football, but Missouri's stiffened when Nebraska's gotten in close on most occasions. David Horn, number 9, has had the most success, 75 yards running it. But here, James Kinney, number 24, knocking the ball free. That turnover led to 7 points for the Missouri Tigers.
And you take a look at the halftime statistics, obviously the turnovers, but how about the total yards? Already plus 22 for Missouri over Nebraska's total that they allow opponents to average this year.
Well, one of the reasons is Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, has been more aggressive in pushing routes downfield in the pass game, and Brad Smith has used his legs very well getting into the secondary in the first half.
Well, as we told you at the top of the show, Missouri won the toss to start things off, and they defer to the second half, so they will be receiving here as we get quarter number 3 on the way. But quarter number 3 has been very kind to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. No one this year has scored a point on Nebraska in the third. In fact, the Huskers have outscored their opposition 60-0 in quarter number 3. Kick with the wind as the wind has really picked up here, going from left to right, and Sandro DeAngelis boots it out of bounds. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. It started out with a bang. Mark LaFleur, 55-yard TD reception. Nebraska's 7-0, Charles.
Yeah, easy swing pass, great blocks downfield. Mark LaFleur takes it to distance. And then Zach Abram with some very determined running gets into the end zone. And a beautiful throwback pass. Darius Outlaw to Brad Smith. Great blocking downfield. Big block by Mr. Draghi, number 76. Lets him into the end zone. Missouri with a 4-point advantage as we start the third.
And the rain starts up again. A sellout crowd of 68,000 plus on hand tonight. Smith. Pass complete up to the 40-yard line to the 41-yard line. Sean Coffey on the reception.
This looks like how Missouri started the ball game. Remember, first couple plays in the game, they threw the ball downfield. The first time they tried to get way downfield, Nebraska covered. He had to go short. The second play, coming underneath, on target. I said early in the second quarter, Brad Smith seemed to be settling into the game. I stand by that statement. I think he's locked in at this point.
Pride on the ground, straight ahead, running over the right side. Not much running room. What did Frank Solich have to say at the end of the first 30 minutes? Our Craig Sager found out. Craig.
Well, he told his team they may be trailing 14-10, but he thought the momentum was leaning their way. He said you can't do much about those special team turnovers right now, but what we can do is go out, have the black shirt defense stop Missouri in this opening drive, and then give the ball back to the offense because he thought the offense was moving the ball very well. He said, yeah, we're behind, but I like the momentum.
Well, they had almost 300 yards, 288 yards to be exact in the first half, so they were moving the football.
It wasn't a total loss in the first half for them, was it?
Damian Nash, he'll try the right side, gets up to about the 45-yard line. What we see in this Missouri offense, we saw it at times, not all the time in that first 30 minutes, tempo. They've worked on tempo the last 2 weeks, and we're seeing the effects of that work right now.
Yeah, they're in and out of the huddle. They're very confident approaching the line of scrimmage. We talked about how the offensive line had been challenged by Dave Christensen, and they've lived up to it tonight. You know, you get tired of hearing for 2 weeks, you know, you guys didn't play very well. And those guys want to shake that tag off and have a big ball game to show on film on Sunday.
Third down, we'll call it 5. Smith, tough pass as he rolls to the left, throws back across the grain, almost intercepted. That ball started to float on Brad Smith. Josh Bullock's almost had his second interception of the night. Ooh, you got to be careful when Bullock's around there.
Just a tad late getting rid of the ball, and you know why? Because he was moving to his left, had to take the time to square his shoulders in order to make the throw. Thompson Umboga came open early in the route. Brad Smith unable to get it to him at that time, leading to a punt. Nice break on the ball by Bullocks, number 20 for Nebraska. He came a long way to knock that one away.
Well, Josh Davis back at his 18-yard line. Hasn't seen a whole lot of action at tailback. And another bad kick by Missouri. This is going to be real short. And again, Nebraska with excellent field position at the 37-yard line. Now it's time for the Best Buy Authority Report, and here's our resident authority, Charles Davis.
But that sounds good.
I like
now
that.
If I can only live up to it. Take a look at the average starting drive for Missouri against Kansas. They started their own 22 for the ball game, so obviously an improvement for them. Nebraska last week, they started their own 46 against Troy State. They're down 16 for that. Nebraska had held a plus 15-yard advantage in field position for the season coming into the game.
Now that punt covered 18 yards. He has gone downhill since his first punt of 52. In fact, the last 3 punts were 35, 21, and 18 for Missouri as Lord takes it out of bounds. You know, and Frank Solich made a great point. Hey, listen, let's just stop them. And so many coaches, so many big-time college football coaches, they love the opening drive of the second half. It's kind of like basketball. You get on that first 5 minutes, you make a little run, you put the team back on their heels.
Were you in my locker room when I was playing ball?
I'm there, baby.
That's exactly what we've said every week. Johnny Major always talks about the first 5 minutes of each half. First 5 minutes, jump on someone, and keep the intensity there. That's what Nebraska's going to try and do to start the second half here.
Lord picked up 3, second down and 7. 3-step drop, pump fakes, looks, double clutches, gets it up to about the 48-yard line to Ross Pilkington. That is his second reception of the night. Pilkington, one of the interesting stories of this Nebraska offense. Just a sophomore out of Fort Collins, Colorado, was a draft pick by the Colorado Rockies. In fact, the 20th round back in 2000, and went to all those great Pioneer League bus trips and said, I want to play football. And Ron Brown, the receivers coach, just happened to call him and said, hey, come on and play. Let's go.
You travel a little bit better when you play college football for Nebraska than you do in the Pioneer League. And Pilkington was a high school teammate of Josh Davis's.
And you eat better, too.
Oh, yes, you do.
Horning Crewell in the backfield. Lord keeps it, leans forward up to about the 46-yard line. Ellison on the stop. SI.com is your source for scores and breaking sports news. You'll find on SI.com right now a bunch of upsets in college football today, which EJ and Boz talked about at halftime. As we look at Jamal Lord, he has been through the boos, he's been through the cheers, and because of all that, that young man's a better quarterback.
And what a strong person he's going to be throughout his whole life. He can handle anything.
Trying the left side, bouncing around, it's David Horn. Okay, let's get in Barney Cotton's head a little bit here. Josh Davis is the starting I-back. He has not played that much. In fact, you know, he had, I think he has 5 carries in that first half. David Horn is getting all the carries now. Why?
Because David Horn carried the ball well in the first half, got into a rhythm. And when you get a running back into a good rhythm, and we've seen it over the years at Nebraska, all the great I-backs as we come up on second and short, yeah, it looks like they're going to measure for it. What was a characteristic about all the great I-backs? The more carries they got, the better that they perform.
That's right.
Because now you can feel the blocks, you can sense where everything's coming from. You're really into the ball game. David Horn has that look tonight for Nebraska.
Here's the measurement. Will be a tad short, but you know, you talk about Nebraska. They led the nation in rushing in 2000, 2001, but they really have not had a legitimate option attack since, I'd have to think it was back in '97. Because they had the breakaway speed of Amon Green.
Yeah, and Scott Frost also was an excellent ball carrier. Second and short, if you're Barney Cotton right now with Jamal Lord, as well as he's throwing the ball tonight, this might be a time you run your option pass and try and break one deep, either to Harrion number 11 or if Pilkington's in the game. He's not in. It looks like Wiley is in the ball game. But this would be a chance because of field position.
From the eye, they're just going to go straight ahead and try to get the first down, but Missouri stacks things up, and it's still going to be close. Lord did what you like doing, though. Instead of trying to jump over the top, just get behind, you know, the big guys in front and just bury the head and try to see if you can get that 8-10 inches.
If you watch all of our games, you'll get tired of me saying the same thing over and over, but I've never understood a quarterback trying to dive with no momentum. You know, you don't have a running start, and when you have no momentum, you get knocked back and knocked to the side too easily. Get down low and burrow behind those 300-pounders.
According to our Home Depot 1st and 10 line, he's got the first down by about the length of a football. We'll have to see.
And the 1st and 10 line from Home Depot always gets it right. Okay?
Putting pressure on the sponsors.
I mean, it's no question.
You're right.
It's no question. I mean, why are we even debating it?
You're absolutely right.
Mr. Juszczyk, Steve Juszczyk, Mr. Referee.
Just check with us.
Just ask us.
We'll give you thumbs up, right?
We'll get the Home Depot 1st and 10 line does not lie.
That's right.
What our partner Maceo tell us today, Maceo Gray? Hey, the eye in the sky
don't
does not lie.
It doesn't. You can see the first downs. Nebraska +2 on Missouri right now. 2 tight ends with Harrion and Peets. And they'll run the option to the left side. The pitch back to Horn. Gets inside the 40, knocked out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. James Kinney coming up from that linebacker spot, the junior out of Kankakee, Illinois.
actually did a decent job stringing it out.
Yeah.
Number 94, I think that's Phil Pitts, who normally plays inside, has moved out to defensive end, did a good job of making Jamal Lord commit one way or the other. Pitch it or keep it. He chose to pitch it. That gave James Kinney time to come from inside out, use the sideline as an extra defender, and take the ball carrier over the sideline with a nice tackle.
Well, the rain slacking up a little bit, but still coming down in case you just joined us. Tied at 7 at the end of one. 14-10 at halftime. Right ahead running, classic Nebraska style again. That'll be short of the first down by about 2.5 yards. Quincy Wade, the sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri, coming up from that rover spot. His first tackle of the evening.
One thing I'm noticing now, watching Missouri's defensive line, they're shuffling players in and out on almost every play. And it's not just pass situations. Nebraska's so big, strong, and heavy that they don't want their defensive linemen to wear down in this game, so they're using a number of them on every play, trying to keep fresh legs on the field.
Third down, we'll call it 3. Nothing doing. Great stop by that Missouri defensive front four. Jason Simpson coming around from that whip position, the sophomore out of the Woodlands, Texas, to help in on the tackle.
They've got the wind behind them here, Ron. You know, as we get into this with this big down here on 4th down, but I'm not sure they want to trust a field goal kicker for this distance. And why punt it when chances are to go out of bounds? They trust the black shirt defense. They're going to go for it.
Well, it'd be a 52-yard field goal. Instead, they put Krewald in front of Horn. Here comes the option back to Horn. Has one block, gets it, leans forward to the 30-yard line, and he's got the first down. Nino Williams, the second, coming up with his 3rd tackle of the evening. That was classic option. You knew it was coming.
I mean, we can make the call up here, but it's similar to Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers in the 60s. You knew what was coming. The playbook wasn't that thick, but you know something? They were so skillful at executing and had it tuned up so well that they would just out-execute you in situations such as that. Nebraska got it done on that 3rd down.
Nice block by Steve Krewell, the fullback, by the way. And they'll go to the short side of the field with the option. Pitching it back this time, Missouri right there to string things out. Jason Simpson again. That's his 4th tackle tonight.
Young man's been active, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
We watched him on Thursday, and someone blew an assignment in practice, and he climbed all over him. I said, that must be senior leadership. And I looked down, and he gets a sophomore.
I know. and you know, they call him. We asked the coaches. We said, listen, what about this Simpson kid that was getting on everybody? They go, well, let's just say he's free-spirited.
He's a little bit of a free spirit.
Yeah,
but you know something? If he continues to play in the manner that he's playing tonight, he can be as free-spirited as he wants to because he's making plays.
You love leaders. That's what Gary Pinkel loves to see on defense. Loss of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 12 for Nebraska. Have a little opening again, down inside the 20-yard line, down to the 18-yard line. Pickup of 13 on the play for Lord. That was a great read by Jamal Lord. He saw the little window open and just cut right through it.
Yeah, and he got some help, too, because Brian Smith, the defensive end, watch here. He comes inside, and he needs to be outside. See how he missed? And Jamal Lord went to the outside on the zone read. You made a good point there. Read the end crashing, the defensive guys crashing down, but when he came up into the hole, Brian Smith should have been there to meet him. He came so far inside, he got knocked down. Jamal Lord dipped outside for the first down.
This is the 12th play of this drive. Inside the 20, down to about the 18-yard line, maybe a pickup of 1. C.J. Mosley coming up in that nose tackle spot, the sophomore out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
You see the Missouri defense, and again, substitutions all across the defensive front. Every play, they're shuffling in at least one defensive lineman because Nebraska, they may be slimmer, but they're still big and strong, and they tend to wear you down as the game goes along. Missouri trying to conserve a little bit of energy for the 4th quarter.
Now Lord will go to the long side of the field, pitches it back to Horn, has some running room, looks for the 10, inside the 10, down to about the 8-yard line. They'll mark it at the 5. Williams and Harden coming up for the secondary to make the stop.
You remember the great swimmer Tracy Calkins?
Oh, yes.
Okay, now because it's wet, I can use this analogy. Look at how Horn just slips and moves and uses the field in order to continue to get downfield. What I mean by that is he sees all the openings. He leans one way, brings it back the other way. They always talked about Tracy Calkins, how she used the water so well to propel herself. David Horn using the field, sure-footed in his cuts.
First and goal from the 5. Nebraska last in the Big 12 in red zone offense. They pitch it back. Horn, kiss him goodbye. He's into the golden goalpost.
Watch the block by number 6, Deontay Grigsby. Gets out in front. See how he cuts him down right there? Defensive back has no chance at that point to get to David Horn.
That is his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And David Horn over 100 yards rushing the football. Dykes on for the extra point, and it is good. Frank Solich told our Craig Sager, let's get the black shirts out there, stop them, score in our first possession. He's prophetic. Nebraska's regained the lead. Along with Charles Davis and Craig Sager, I'm Ron Thulin. Welcome you back to a very damp and chilly Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri, where the Missouri Tigers led at intermission. But on their first drive of the second half, Nebraska scores to regain the advantage at 17-14. Sandro DeAngelo set to kick it away. Roberson standing back on the goal line. With the win, it's going to be a short kick at the 8. Roberson gets up to about the 20-yard line. Pickup of 12, and Missouri will take over. Well, this week's installment of Home Depot Building a Team features Nebraska first-year coaches. We touched on it in the opening quarter. 6 new assistants have joined the team. We've talked about Barney Cotton and Bo Pelini, but they've also added a couple of good names in Marvin Sanders and Jimmy Williams.
Yeah, you got to really like Marvin Sanders and Jimmy Williams, both former Husker players who have come back to coach at their alma mater.
What'd you say about Marvin? Can still run about a...
He ran a 4.52 the first day the Huskers came back in tennis shoes at the age of 36.
Zach Abram is, yeah, that's not too bad. Zach Abrams checked back into the lineup, and he has the first carry of this possession. Picks up about 7 on the play. How important is this now for Missouri to answer that touchdown by Nebraska?
Well, I think we go back to what we said about Nebraska. No panic at this point. Plenty of time left in the ball game, let alone the third quarter, 8:20 on the clock. But they need a good drive. You know, got to come off the field with a good feeling here and not turn the ball over. Again, field position where Nebraska has a chance to go short field and score again.
Well, field position is something that the Missouri coaches telling us that they must win. Second down and short. Smith, a little play action pass, plenty of time. Oh my, he's got a lot of real estate. Crosses the 35, gets a block, up to the 50, down to about the 46-yard line. The big hit was from Marcus James. He's the one that set the block that freed Smith.
Great job by Brad Smith, patience in the pocket. Watch Marcus James right there. Excellent block downfield. That allowed Brad Smith another, I'm telling you, 5, 10, nearly 15 yards of territory. And look at how field position has changed. They are now in Nebraska territory. Troy State took 4 snaps last week against Nebraska in Nebraska's territory for the game.
For the entire game. Pickup of 27 on the play. That's the Brad Smith we saw last year. Keep it on the ground. Running room inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. It's Zach Abram again. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson on a little Georgia-Tennessee.
Yeah, Georgia had the lead 10-0 on Tennessee when the Vols came up with their longest scoring pass in school history. DeCorey Bryant had it taken away by Tennessee's Mark Jones, who took it the rest of the way to make it 13-7 in a big battle in the SEC East. Ron?
All right, Charles, the loser of that, either you or Ernie, a Georgia grad, have to sing the other team's theme song next week. How about that? That didn't go over too big. Try the right side, slipping and sliding on this wet field turf. I don't think that's going to happen. Zach Abram.
You just don't want to hear me sing. Trust me on that one.
You can sing solo. Solo, nobody hears you. How's that?
But, you know, that Georgia-Tennessee highlight we saw, the catch that Mark Jones made,
yeah.
Another example of two-way players in college football. You know, the proliferation that we've seen,
yeah.
Defensive back and wide receiver. He competed as a defensive back on that play, took it away and ended up scoring.
Well, here in Missouri facing 3rd down and 3. They're only 2 of 7 on 3rd down occasions tonight. Penalty flags thrown. They're going to back them up even farther.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Well, one thing Gary Pinkel has done, he's taken care of the intangibles like turnovers and things like that. And penalties is another thing that Missouri hasn't done a whole lot of this year. In fact, they're number 2 in the NCAA D1 in fewest penalties. UAB is number 1. You can see what they do per game. How about that?
Yeah, 2 turnovers for the game for the season coming into tonight. This is prior to the beginning of this game. They'd had 2 lost fumbles, 0 interceptions. Of course, that number will change now. But again, ball security, very important for the Missouri Tigers. Gary Pinkel preaching it.
That was only their 3rd penalty. Smith throwing it out on the flat, short, hopping it up at the 35-yard line. Incomplete, the officials say. Well, Marcus James said, wait a minute, I had it. The senior from Liberal, Kansas.
Yeah, looked like Tom Keeling or Tim Crowley, the linesman or line judge, had a good view of it from the inside looking. See the ball coming?
That's tough to call.
Tough to call for us there with Marcus James blocking it off, but the official was back inside of the play looking directly into it. He signaled right away incomplete. So I've got to trust that he had the best view of it.
No question about it. Brock Harvey, his last 2 punts, 21 and 18 yards. He's punting into a stiff wind. Good snap. Much better kick. Angling it towards the right side. That is a beautiful kick.
I think it's
a new punter.
It's Gosler. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Brock Harvey didn't punt, so he gets taken out. Gosler's first kick of the night, and he puts it inside the 5. We'll be back after this.
Time to pick favorites at Red Lobster. Choose freshly breaded shrimp, delicious shrimp scampi, or one of our bold new tastes. Mix and match any 2 dozen for $9.99. 2 dozen shrimp, just $9.99. Now at Red Lobster.
Share the love.
Hey, it's your ride, and the pros at AutoZone have the performance products and accessories you need to make it exactly what you want it to be. Your ride. Get in the zone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
With this computer, you can even edit and burn home movies on DVD.
That'll be great for the stuff we'll shoot on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, where are you going? Rafting.
That's it, Larry. Good job, buddy. Keep going,
Where's Boo?
Did I mention you can edit stuff out?
That'd be good.
Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Best Buy.
It's been 140 years since we began crossing this land. In that time, we've used more than our share of ingenuity and tenacity to build a company and a nation. And together, we've overcome challenges the size of mountains.
Welcome back to Big PlayStation Saturday from Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri. Too much Brad Smith. I love it. Along with Charles Davis and Craig Sager, I'm Ron Thulin, welcoming you back. We've got 6:09 left to play in quarter number 3. And we have a 17-14 game on a rainy and windy night here in Columbia.
And this is where Matt Eberflus' defense needs a 3-and-out. A 3-and-out for field position purposes would be huge for the Missouri Tigers.
Todd Gosler, by the way, was the punter. He's a senior out of San Diego, California. He wasn't even listed on their 2 deep. Straight ahead running. Plenty of running room. Steve Krewald, the junior out of Scotia, Nebraska. That is only his 4th carry of the year, but it was an impressive one.
Yeah, this is a tendency breaker because Nebraska rarely uses the fullback. Most of the time you see the option game, so every now and then you hand it inside. And if people don't take care of their responsibilities and read their keys, you have a chance to bust a big play. That's exactly what happened for Nebraska. Got them out of the shadow of their own end zone and another first down.
Picked up a 15. That's his biggest carry of the year. And we've got penalty flags.
Maybe someone jumped from Nebraska like Phil Peets or Dan Billy Waldrop down on defense on the offensive line.
Start offense. 5-yard penalty.
Sixth penalty against Nebraska tonight.
This is almost like a reprieve for the Missouri Tigers. You go to 1st and 15. Again, they've got to find a way to keep Nebraska pinned here and make them punt from deep in their own territory.
First down and 15. Nebraska's average start tonight, their own 28-yard line. They fake the reverse. They keep it on the ground, straight ahead running. James Kinney up for another stop. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson.
Hey, watch this, Charles. Tennessee trying to take the lead right before the half, and the ball's loose. And there's Sean Jones of Georgia going about 90 for a 20-7 halftime lead. I ain't singing Rocky Top, pal, but you might be singing Glory, Glory. Back to you.
He's humming over here, Ernie.
It's a 60-minute game, Ernie. It's a 60-minute game.
Well, this game has about 4:53 left to play in the third. Nebraska keeping it on the ground, clipping over the 20-yard line on second down at about 9. Here's David Horn again. Does this limit your play calling? We've got another injured player for Missouri. Does this limit Barney's play calling the way things are going tonight?
I don't think so. I think they've still called the same plays that they like to call. The only thing they've really missed is the big strike downfield off the option pass. See Garth Blissman wearing the pullover, signaling plays in. Also Joe Daly, number 12, the backup quarterback. One of those guys is the live guy in terms of signals in case someone's picking them up. And they're trying to dwarf Barney Cotton there in the middle. There's Coach Cotton, and let me tell you something. There's no dwarfing that guy.
No. He's a big man.
That's a lot of man right there. And he's done a phenomenal job in his first year at Nebraska, especially with the attitude of the offensive line, because they've been knocking people back all season long.
Lino Williams, the second, is the injured player. We hope to have an update. Nebraska 6 of 11 on third down tonight. Lord throws it out of the flat. LaFleur, he is going to be covered up, and he's going to lose a couple. Great job by Curry coming up for Missouri.
And Jason Simpson, number 6, almost didn't believe it. Watch number 6, all right, coming from inside out. I believe that's Jason Simpson there. Almost didn't believe it because this is a play they've run all night. Watch Jason kind of hesitate there. See that? Kind of stuttered and still came on and made the play. How many times have we seen Nebraska run that play in this situation tonight? Safe pass, few blockers out in front. You've got to get underneath it. That's exactly what Jason Simpson did. They're forcing the punt, and they should have good field position with one of the best return men in the Big 12 back there, Marcus James.
Kyle Larson standing on his own 5. Good snap, little pressure. Line drive kick to James. Angling toward the sideline, and it'll go out of bounds, and Missouri will have excellent field position with 3:37 left to play in quarter number 3. Plenty of time left. Nebraska, number 10 in the country, by a field goal over Gary Pinkel in Missouri. And welcome back to beautiful Columbia, Missouri. The leaves are changing. The weather's getting a little colder as college football on TBS Superstation has Nebraska and Missouri. And you're looking at the Jesse Hall. Replaces the old academic hall. It represents Missouri's commitment to higher education. And the Tiger fans, 68,000 strong, coming into Faurot Field tonight. A standing room only crowd. Tickets have been sold out for a couple of weeks. They've braved the rain, a little chilly temperature now, and they're seeing a pretty good football game. Third possession of the second half for the Tigers. Smith throwing into a crowd, incomplete, almost picked off again. T.J. Hollowell was right there to get his hands on it, couldn't bring it in.
Okay, back me up. What did we say to each other in the break?
They got to go back to their running game.
Well, you know, I'm just wondering if they want to reestablish it because they've been play action pass on first down pretty consistently throughout the ball game. And Bo Pelini got a nice type on as we take a look at Gary Pinkel, the head coach. And he had a nice defense called for it and almost an interception by T.J. Hollowell.
And they go back on the ground, punching over the left side inside the 40. Good, tough running up to about the 42-yard line. Zach Abram. Let's take a look at the Missouri's leaders for tonight as far as passing the football. Smith, you can see right now he has a couple of interceptions. Abrams 60 yards on 12 carries, and Amoga 3 receptions for 30 yards, but he's averaging 10 yards a reception.
Yeah, I'd like to see Abrams get a few chances to carry the football. He carried it very well against Kansas in the first half, didn't touch it much in the second. You know, he's a guy that I think the more times he touches it, he's going to get stronger also. It's tough to give it to him on 3rd and 5.
No one has scored on Nebraska in the 3rd quarter this year. And there's only 2:46 left in the 3rd tonight. The quick look-in pass, tipped incomplete, should have been caught. The pass was there. Brad Ekwu had it right in his hands and couldn't pull it down.
Yeah, he's a true freshman. Nice slant. Ball was right there. And he knows how he was trying to cradle it against his body. He was trying to do two things there. Cradle the ball against his body and absorb the hit he knew was coming. And unfortunately, he didn't get the first thing done, which is catch the football, because you're going to take the hit.
That's right. There you
That's what they tell you. Catch it. You're going to take the shot anyway.
Well, Tom Gosler, a former junior college All-American, his first kick was great. Second kick, not so great. And another bad punt by Missouri. USA Today is the place for a comprehensive look at sports. Get all the latest scores, stats, standings, and game recaps to keep you up to date with your favorite teams and players. Only in USA Today. Now that was 26 yards on the kick. I already talked about Brock Harvey's problems kicking the football, and Tom Gosler had a 40-yarder inside the 5-yard line on his first kick, and then he throws down a 25-yarder.
But I think he'll get another opportunity. You know, you don't just, you put him into the game cold. He does well for you on one, second one not so well. Keep giving him chances.
Play action pass, Jamal Lord eludes the rush. Tries to get to the outside, and he does. Crosses the 40, scampers up to about the 44-yard line before James Kinney threw him out of bounds. That's going to be close to a first down.
Now, sometimes athleticism just wins. Now, watch there, Jamal Lord. All right, he's going to come out and make a play, and then watch to the bottom of your screen. You're going to see number 6, Jason Simpson, right here. He's going to come up, and he's got a chance to make the play. He's in perfect position. They do everything right. Take away the cutback, you know, play your responsibilities, and Jamal Lord just won that one-on-one battle. He's a great athlete.
240 yards rushing the football right now for Nebraska. Lord, play action, looking down the middle deep, has to go to his secondary receiver. Pass is complete to Steve Krewald. That is his second reception of the night, first reception of the night.
What a great job by Jamal Lord. You called the whole play. Looking downfield for Matt Herrion, number 11, trying to get deep. Ordinarily, that's a one-read thing for Jamal Lord. One read, fling it up there, see what happens. He actually came off to his second read, which was Krewald, the fullback, and made a positive play.
Well, you see Jamal Lord's numbers pretty decent tonight. Missouri showing a blitz. Lord just cuts the defense. Pulls his way for the first down up to the 45-yard line. Jamal Lord, I'm telling you, he's playing a complete game tonight, isn't he?
He really is, because he's handling things so well as the quarterback, not just in the run game, which we expected out of him, but as you just mentioned, the pass game, he's been very good in it, not throwing the ball up for grabs. For the most part, has made good throws all night. Only on a couple of occasions as he missed open receivers, which has been the bulk of criticism against him. He's playing a very good football game.
2 tight ends for Nebraska, 1st and 10. From the eye, Davis gets the carry, and he gets inside the 40 down to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 11. We were wondering what happened to Josh Davis. There he is.
Well, he's seen the numbers that David Horn has put up, and he is the starting I-back, and he doesn't want to give that up very easily. This is a young man who worked so hard in the offseason, lost about 10 pounds to get quicker, and it really just won the job.
That's right.
Seized it in the summer.
Along with his dad, Tony, became the first father-son combo to get 100 yards rushing each. Lord, nice fake on the pitch. He's got some running room. Scampering down the sidelines. Touchdown, Nebraska. I think Barney Cotton may have gotten hurt there. Great play, but the offensive coordinator's got a hitch in his get-along, but Lord scores the touchdown.
I bet when someone was making a block, they might have rolled over across the sideline, but I hope he's going to be okay.
Richard Barney thought his injuries were over when he left the National Football League. Dykes' kick is good, but Jamal Lord, with the touchdown run, covered 35 yards. Here it is again.
So the key to all this is Jamal Lord makes a great run, but watch the missed tackles. All right, gets inside there. One. There's a second one. There's a third one. Guys clutching and grabbing. There's a fourth one at the goal line. No one running through the ball carrier and wrapping up. Good run by Lord, but he had a lot of help there. Aided and abetted by 4 missed tackles at least going downfield.
Well, Barney's limping around, and they're going to he's probably saying, no, just tape me up. I'm staying in this game.
You know what's interesting here? A little historical perspective on Barney Cotton's injury. We're here at Missouri, right? Dan Devine, one of the all-time great coaches here at Missouri. When Dan Devine was with the Green Bay Packers, he got taken out on a play like that.
That's right.
Suffered a broken leg in the year the Packers went 10-4, went to the playoffs for the first time since the Lombardi years. You know, so you got a Missouri guy here because we're in Columbia.
That's right.
Barney Cotton getting caught on the sideline, but I'm guessing Big Barney is going to walk it off, and there'll be no medical attention until this game's over.
He didn't look like he was going to come off the field very easily,
no,
did he?
That man's going to play hurt.
Well, Tyrone Roberson is back again on the goal line. Andrew D'Angelo set to kick it with the wind. It's going to be a short kick from the 11-yard line. Here comes the reverse on the kickoff. The wall is setting up to the 30, to the 40, tiptoeing out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Brad Akweku.
What a great play, because when you watch the action, because it's going to start this way, but the wall is all going to be set back here. And you've said to me before, you know, after a great play and I say a guy should get more, and you'd say, well, you want Raquel Welch to cook?
That's right.
Well, right here, I'm thinking he should have gotten more. See where he hopped out of bounds on the sidelines?
That's right.
I'm thinking that he should have gone, boom, go, right now. Hop over to guy, get an extra 5 or 10 yards. But you know something? He's a true freshman. That will come in time. It will come. Great athlete.
He is going to learn. Zach Abram, the lone man in the backfield. Smith keeps it, dumps it off in the flat. Pass is complete over the 50, down to about the 45-yard line. Nice little touch pass to J.D. McCoy, the tight end, the senior out of Moore, Oklahoma, just outside of Oklahoma City and in the backyard of Norman, Oklahoma.
And it's great to have him back. He's a guy, and that looks like Barney Cotton talking to his guys, still upright. J.D. McCoy made one of the best catches in Missouri history. I'm going to say in history. The Middle Tennessee game when they were struggling in the fourth quarter, a fourth down play, he caught a pass, reaching behind him, catching it, and got his knee hurt on the same play.
3 wide receivers to the right. 43 seconds left in the third. Smith throwing on the run. It's tipped up in the air. Smith does a smart thing, just throws it back down. Bernard Thomas is the man who got the hand on the football. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Home Depot. How heads up was that, though? Instead of trying to catch it, you'd have about a 10-yard loss. Knock it down.
Yeah, we know this is an excellent school academically. You know, we work with some people here going to journalism school.
Oh, yeah.
You know, wanted to come here because it's one of the best in the country. Those were great football smarts we saw by number 16. Great job. No sense picking it off and getting tagged again. Knock it down. 2nd and 10.
2 wide receivers to the top of your screen, 1 to the bottom. 5-step drop. Smith has some running room. Gets inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. LaKeven Smith on the stop, the sophomore out of Macon, Georgia. 6 tackles for Smith tonight. Had his best game versus Penn State, and this young man's getting better for Bo Pelini.
That play had the look of possibly popping a little bigger, didn't it? If it weren't from LaKeven Smith, number 66, pursuing inside out, and Lornell McPherson, number 1, making a nice tackle downfield, Brad Smith might have had a huge gain.
Instead, they've got a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and 4, and that's going to be the end of quarter number 3. So Nebraska keeps their 3rd quarter string alive. They outscore Missouri 14-0 in the 3rd, and they've got the advantage by 10. Final 15 straight ahead. Welcome back to college football on TBS, part of Big PlayStation Saturday as we get set to start the 4th quarter. Number 10, Nebraska, has taken over the lead at 24-14 in the 4th quarter. Nebraska this year has only given up 7 total points. Along with Charles Davis, Craig Sager, I'm Ron Thulin. Missouri facing 3rd down and about 5. Smith keeps it. Got the first down. Running room. He's got one man to beat. Goodbye, Brad Smith. They've given up 1 touchdown this year in the 4th quarter, and their second happens here tonight with the Missouri Tigers and Brad Smith. That was vintage Brad Smith. Matheny on for the extra point to pull Missouri within 3. Got some jumping, a little anxious, and it might be against Nebraska. If you're Missouri, you got your fingers crossed. They pointing fingers. You did it. No, you did it. Let's listen in to Steve Juszczyk. Give us the word.
Offside on the defense.
Now Gary Pinkel's squad.
The distance to the goal penalty.
Gary Pinkel said we've had to compete for 60 minutes, and they've done that so far tonight, Charles. But this is where Nebraska has shined this year as opposed to last year because of their conditioning. They've taken control, even though they just gave this up. Can Nebraska come back?
Yeah, and a lot of people are wondering right there why Missouri might not go for 2 when the ball's on the 1.5. Yeah. Because you just need the extra point to get yourself within a field goal.
Plenty of time
so
left.
Don't bother with it. Now watch this. Brad Smith comes out, okay? He's a quarterback, but look here. You've got the 3 receivers. Watch what happens. He audibles to the inside zone run. Watch how they shift. See how they shifted there? I think they had a quick screen called to the wide side of the field. He audibles to the zone run inside, fakes to the fullback, gets excellent blocking, and then, of course, what did Gary Pinkel tell us? When he gets into the secondary, he's lightning. And once again, a lightning bolt was dropped on the Nebraska secondary as Brad Smith goes into the end zone.
That was the longest run against this Nebraska defense this year. 39 yards for Smith.
Yeah, I really think that was an audible by the way that they shifted. That wasn't a shift off of a set play. They shifted and changed their formation configuration. They love to throw the quick screen out there in that situation. Again, Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, has to like what he just saw out of his sophomore all-star quarterback.
Now you get the crowd back into it, and even though we've had a lot of rain, it's stopped for the moment. No one has left this stadium.
You talked about a sellout here, and it's been aided by the Nebraska Cornhusker fans who turned out in force. A lot of people tell me that a lot of these fans that travel are people who can't get tickets in Lincoln. So the only way to see their Huskers is possibly to go on the road, and this place is packed. Even the Rock M is covered.
Now Matheny will pooch kick it again down to about the 23-yard line, up to the 40-yard line, to the 42-yard line. It's Jack O'Halloran again. Had a fumble earlier tonight. Let's take a look at what Brad Smith, the sophomore from Youngstown's done tonight.
Well, using his legs to get by himself a little more time in the pocket. Now this time, and watch him downfield. Gets a good block downfield. Big play by Brad Smith, and now the zone play, faking it, seeing the hole, and then once he gets an opportunity, turns on the jets, and we're within 3 now. Take a look. Last year's matchup, pretty close, not very big in total offense tonight. Look at the 2 of them, big-time numbers.
We're having a quarterback battle here. 2 great running quarterbacks. Got David Horn on the carry up over the 45-yard line. Let's take a look at that graphic again if we can, guys, in the truck, because I think this really tells a whole story just how powerful both men are. And I think what surprises people is the 148 yards passing the football for Nebraska tonight.
Yeah, and you've talked about what a great job done with their legs. They've done with their arms tonight, too, but also with their smarts. Brad Smith with the last audible. Jamal Lord taking what the defense gives him, not forcing it downfield.
Penalty flag. Nebraska, by the way, only averaging 110 yards passing the football per game this year. That's good for 114th in the NCAA.
You know how many teams are in NCAA Division 1A?
Okay, there's only 3 teams behind them, right?
That's correct.
We'll do it that way.
Still second.
But that's not all that unusual for Nebraska, because usually they're in the top 5 in rushing, I believe, coming into tonight. They were number 6 in the nation in rushing, so yeah, they make up for it in other ways.
Oh, yeah. And I always get kind of a chuckle when I hear some other commentators talk about, well, you know, Nebraska needs to throw the ball, blah, blah, blah. Hey, they've won national championships running the football.
Listen, they beat a Penn State team throwing the ball 6 times this year.
Well, Nebraska's showing a little confusion, and they're going to have to call a timeout with 13:57 left to play. Number 10, Nebraska, trying to extend their streak against Missouri. Welcome back to Big Play Station Saturday, Nebraska and Missouri. Nebraska has won 24 straight. A little confusion over in Missouri. A little confusion bringing in the plays. Last year they used to do it with wide receivers, Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska's always brought plays in with wide receivers. Go back to Bob Devaney, Tom Osborne. This year's the first year they've used signals to signal in from the sideline.
On third down, Lord runs away to the short side of the field, and he is going to be dropped at the 43-yard line. Brian Smith, the redshirt freshman.
We've mentioned his name a few times, and finally he gives us the highlight we've been looking for. He chases Jamal Lord from the backside. Look to the left of your screen, see him right there. Brandon Barnes, number 21, also in excellent position. Bring up another 3rd and long. Look for Matt Eberflew, the defensive coordinator from Missouri, to turn Brian Smith loose again, going after Jamal Lord. But they must be conscious of Lord scrambling up the middle of the pocket.
3rd and 11. Lord fakes the pitch. He is in big trouble. The ball is out. The ball is loose. Missouri has it. And they're knocking on the door. James Kinney forced the fumble.
Watch number 24, James Kinney. We mentioned earlier in the ball game that he's one of their leading tacklers, but plays from him. Hadn't forced fumbles, hadn't made an interception. Well, tonight, he's recovered a fumble, and he's forced 2 fumbles. James Kinney has come to play in this ball game against Nebraska.
And Dedrick Harrington, the redshirt freshman out of Mexico, Missouri, is the one who came up with it, and they're inside the 10. 4 fumbles for Nebraska tonight, and they've lost all 4. First play, left side. The black shirts are there. Zach Abram, nothing doing. Kenny has played a whale of a ball game, though, for that Missouri defense.
He's been one of their most productive players over the last 3 years, but they weren't getting the difference-making plays out of him. Where balls were knocked loose, things that would turn the ball over to their offense. Well, he's answered the call tonight in a big way.
2nd and goal. 2nd down and goal. From the shotgun, here comes Nebraska. Smith tries to go right up the middle, and he is dropped. He'll lose about a yard on the play. Smith. Last time Missouri beat Nebraska here in Columbia, 1973, believe it or not. Nebraska was the number 2 team in the country. In fact, it was October 13th, 1973. 11 straight losses to the Huskers.
And that was Dr. Tom Osborne's first season as the head coach of Nebraska.
3rd and goal. 3rd down and goal.
You know Missouri's thinking touchdown here. They don't want to just tie the game up.
Smith, plenty of time. Trying to get away. Here come the black shirts, and Smith is going to run backwards, throws it over his head. And it'll bring up a 4th down. Demorial Williams is the one who was all over him from the get-go. Steve Juszczyk is going to talk to us about this.
The ball be placed here, 4th down. Forward progress stopped.
Demorial Williams just emerged on that play, didn't he? The speed of number 7 coming from out of the picture into the picture and forcing that play by Brad Smith. And now Missouri going for the tying field goal.
Well, they said forward progress was stopped. He lost 5 on the play, so now they're going to attempt the field goal. They'll mark it at the 22. It's a 32-yarder from Michael Matheny. Riccio will hold. The fake. Riccio looking in the end zone, has a man. Touchdown, Missouri, Victor Cisse. Go back in your memories to last year's game between Oklahoma and Missouri. The Sooners did it to the Tigers.
That was exactly right. Last year, Oklahoma was on the ropes here against Missouri, and Bob Stoops pulled out the fake field goal, threw the touchdown pass, and Oklahoma goes on to win. Gary Pinkel said, what did he tell Craig Sager at the half? We're going to win this game. We're trying to win it. That's aggressive play calling right there.
And the extra point is good. Gary Pinkel trying to stop a losing skid to Nebraska. They have the lead.
The Missouri Tigers have just taken the lead against Nebraska. Watch number 19, the holder, Santino Sonny Riccio. He's the backup quarterback and also had tryouts in Major League Baseball with the Marlins and the Cardinals. What a perfect pass to Victor Cisse, their starting tight end, because he was well covered on the play by number 2, T.J. Hollowell. They weren't totally fooled by the fake. It took a perfect pass over the top, and Gary Pinkel's guts to make that one work.
Sonny Riccio out of Elwood City, Pennsylvania, Lincoln High School. First touchdown pass in a Missouri uniform. McLeany kicks it out of the end zone in Nebraska. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. We've talked about the losing streak. 24 straight. How about the current active losing streaks? Notre Dame over Navy. Nebraska's won 34 straight over Kansas. This is number 3 in the country. Now the Huskers, plenty of time, no time to panic. 11:21 to play in a game. Lord, straight drop, throws it into the flat. Pass is dropped by Steve Krewall, the fullback. Now let's see where that summer conditioning comes in for Nebraska. They've been able to pound on people in the 4th quarter so far this year.
And what was that great song, I Get By with a Little Help from My Friends? Nebraska just helped Missouri. Easy play there for Steve Krewall because he definitely would have had 5-7 yards minimum on the pass play. Jamal Lord hit him.
Right.
And now they open the door for him for a 2nd and long.
3 wide receivers to the right. Wiley trying to hear the play on the lower portion of your screen. Lord, the quick pitch, it's on the ground. Davis has to fall on it. Back to the 5-yard line. 5 fumbles for Nebraska. They've lost 4.
And look who forces the play. The pass rush guy, Brian Smith. Watch him coming. Boom! He forced it so fast that Jamal Lord really didn't have time to make a good pitch before he hit him right up in the top of the number. And Nebraska fortunate to get on the fumble. And now comes up 3rd and forever.
Loss of 14.
About Missouri now in defense, I zone blitz. I don't want to give up a huge play. I want pressure, but I still want to cover the receivers downfield.
And it is loud. Krewall tries to break a couple of tackles, able to get up to the 10-yard line, well short of the 1st down. Brandon Barnes with his 2nd tackle of the night. And Nebraska will be forced to kick it away on 4th down, and it's about 20 to go. What a job by this Missouri defense tonight.
See, and that's what coaches always talk about. When you play in Nebraska and you put them in long yardage situations, obviously that gives you your best chance because they don't have the sophisticated passing game to take those kind of shots downfield. And Frank Solich looked up at the clock, still almost 10 minutes to go. Going to put it on his black shirt defense as they try and punt it away.
Kyle Larson in his end zone. Kicking against the wind, and it's a low kick. Marcus James from the 50, looks for the wall, slips, still on his feet, in the 40, down to the 35-yard line. 17 yards on the return, and Missouri with the lead and excellent field position. We'll be back to Columbia in a moment. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Home Depot. The Missouri offense tonight, 379 yards against this black shirt defense of Nebraska. The most the Huskers had given up this year was 319 to Southern Miss. Gary Pinkel's squad has done everything they had hoped for. They've won the turnover battle. They've come up with big plays, and they've attacked on defense.
Let's see if Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, is feeling frisky in this situation and wants to punch it downfield.
I think he's going to want to waste some time.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
Abram left side may have gotten up to the 35 before LaKeven Smith came up with a stop. There were some big plays in this 4th quarter.
Of course, the guy wearing 16 in the black jersey figures to be a big part of those big plays, but the defense has stepped up. James Kinney forcing the fumble. And then the fake. Great call by Gary Pinkel. He told us, we're trying to win a football game. He didn't go for the tie there. He went for the win.
Murray's going to keep it on the ground, nearing the 30-yard line. Demorial Williams with another tackle. You know, one of the things Missouri did this week is they tried to sort of go along with the speed of Demorial Williams. They had somebody sort of be the scout as Demorial Williams because he has such great speed and nobody's been able to block him this year.
Yeah, and the guys that they used were defensive backs who were going to be smaller and faster coming off the edge, so their offensive tackles had to really get out there and try and block them, trying to simulate the speed that Demorial Williams provides on the field for Nebraska.
Well, Demorial Williams, an incredible story out of Beckville, Texas. Worked on an oil field for a while before going back to football after sitting out a year. Now he's a Butkus Award candidate. Smith looking over the middle, caught inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Sean Coffey. What a catch.
You and I on it together. That's exactly what I was about to say. Sean Coffey, hello and welcome back to the land of the living. How could they not find this guy as a receiver in 2 ball games this year? It's a great question, isn't it? 6'5", 224, a terrific target, and what a great catch. A hands catcher. You often hear about guys being body catchers. If he's a body catcher, he can't make that one. Uses his hands, brings it down to him.
3rd reception for Coffey tonight. Smith looking for all of it. Has a man. Overthrown, incomplete. Smith thought he had him. Ombogo is right there.
Very close, but good defense on the play by the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They had run them off. See the motion? This is Omboga running back across the middle of the field. Watch the defensive back coming there. Sean Coffey was covered. It looked like Pat Ricketts, number 28, came off of the coverage of Sean Coffey and came back and went through Thompson Omboga to cause the incompletion.
Second down and 10. Missouri can get a 1st down without scoring. Straight ahead running. Down to the 6-yard line. Zach Abram, the senior out of Lake St. Louis, Missouri. Fans, for exclusive news and recruiting coverage of your favorite teams, log on now to Rivals.com. You know, we talk about Zach Abram, how he quietly goes about his business. How about 15 carries tonight for a very quiet 70 yards and a touchdown?
And again, the Kansas game, he carried the ball a bunch in the first half, barely carried it in the second half. They were saying, why not give it to him a little bit more? You wonder here if Gary Pinkel might be thinking 4-down territory to try and really get a lead against Nebraska.
Smith keeps it 1st down, Missouri. 1st and goal. It'll be at about the 2.5-yard line.
Now he doesn't have to think about that. Now he's back into 1st and goal with Brad Smith coming down the line. You see T.J. Hollowell, number 2. He has the first shot. Brad Smith slips him, falls inside for the 1st down. And again, I'm going to go back to this. They're up 4. Okay, a field goal obviously gives them a touchdown advantage. But if you're Gary Pinkel, you might think about going 4-down territory and try and get a big lead, a commanding lead, as you go down with 6:49 on the clock.
Missouri already 14 points in this 4th quarter. 1st and goal. Straight over the top, nothing doing. Stopped at about the 1. You can hear the pads popping on Zach Abram from up here. Patrick Kabongo coming up to make the stop, the senior out of Montreal, Quebec.
Yeah, Patrick Kabongo delivered an El Kabong on that one. Take a look at the closest to us, Dave Christensen, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator. I think he's called a heck of a game tonight.
I think so too. And David Yost to his right, the quarterback's coach, helping out on Brad Smith. Smith has had a whale of a ball game.
And we'll see about Missouri's offensive line here. This is where they can really make a reputation.
Smith has rushed for 100 and passed for over 100. Second and goal. Smith keeps it. It's a race to the corner. He looks. Touchdown, Missouri! 5 minutes and 53 seconds separates Missouri from 24 years of frustration.
Watch number 31, Jarrell Pippins, is in perfect position. He did a great job being a BCR player. Boot, cut back, reverse, stayed in excellent position. But Brad Smith won the one-on-one battle as a great athlete with the old-fashioned stiff arm.
Oh my, and the extra point is tipped, no good. The snap was high. Riccio just couldn't get it down, and plenty time for Matheny to get a good piece of it. But Brad Smith with the touchdown, and Missouri has taken a 10-point advantage over Nebraska. Coming into this ball game, Nebraska had only given up 7 second-half points. Tonight, 20 to Missouri here in quarter number 4. And the Tigers have the lead 34-24. 30 years ago here in Columbia was the last time Missouri beat Nebraska here in Missouri. 1978, they beat them in Nebraska.
That's part of the team being honored tonight, wasn't it?
That's
Warren
right,
Powers. And on that team, Phil Bradley was the All-Big 8 quarterback. Kellen Winslow, James Wilder at running back. Quite a squad.
With the win, Davis, 5 yards deep, he's going to bring it out. Up to the 20, still running room. Davis still running room. Over the 40, up to the 43-yard line. College football on TBS brought to you by Kia Motors. 7 cars, 1 belief. Kia, make every mile count. The United States Army, an army of 1. PlayStation 2. And the Home Depot. Go from wondering how to knowing how at the Home Depot. You can do it, we can help. 5:45 to play in a ball game. Nebraska with the football, excellent field position.
Screen.
Lord looking for it, being chased. Back to his 30. It's closing with a bunch of black shirts, and he is going to run out of bounds at the 30-yard line. A loss of about 13. Craig Sager, that Missouri defense is playing up to the task tonight. Now having a little trouble with Craig's audio. We'll get back to him in a second because what he's going to show you is pretty good.
Yeah.
The rain, though, has been so hard tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if he short-circuited it out. It stopped for this moment.
And the Missouri defense showing signs of not playing tight. You know, they're not playing to protect that
That's
lead right now, not sitting back on their heels. Went after Nebraska real well on first down.
3 wide receivers to the right. 5.5 to play. Lord looking, throw it over the middle, intercepted at the 46-yard line. To the 10, Michael Harden. Zach Zill with the interception.
Zone blitz. Zone blitz. This guy right here, that's Zach Bill. You know what position he plays? Defensive end. And look at how far he dropped into pass coverage to make the interception to give Missouri an opportunity to really start to believe that they can beat Nebraska for the first time since 1978.
I think I was surprised that Bill was so far back. I figured it had to be somebody in the secondary.
Well, when you take a look at Zach Ville, I mean, 6'2", 272.
Yeah.
Obviously a tremendous athlete to get that much of a pass drop. And Jamal Lord trying to tuck a pass in on a crossing route, and Ville made a great play.
Now Smith's going to call a timeout. 5:24 to play in the ball game. Missouri by 10. Nebraska plagued by turnovers tonight. They've lost 4 fumbles. They've had an interception. 1978 in Lincoln, Nebraska, November 18th to be exact. James Wilder scored 4 touchdowns. Missouri upset second-ranked Nebraska 35-31. Kellen Winslow, the great Kellen Winslow, helped out. Of course, Missouri went on to play in the Liberty Bowl, and it was the last time Missouri beat the Huskers.
And forced, and didn't they force? There's Kellen Winslow, the Hall of Famer, number 83 here at Missouri, number 80 with the Chargers, San Diego Chargers. Nebraska had beaten Oklahoma that year during the middle of the season. And then at the end of the season, when Missouri beat Nebraska, Nebraska still won the Big 8, but they ended up in an Orange Bowl rematch with Oklahoma, which they did not want, and Oklahoma won the rematch.
Kellen's kid's not too bad.
He got a little bit of game to him.
He's got some game. Not as much as Dad.
What's his nickname? The Chosen One? That's his own self-appointed nickname. No, you know, you're not really crazy about a young guy going with the Chosen One.
Yeah.
I have a hard time arguing with him the way he's playing right now. I watched him today in the game, and he was on the punt coverage team.
He does it all.
He went in on punt block for Miami also. A true athlete.
Here's the situation. 5:24 to play in the game. Missouri leads it by 10. First and goal for the Tigers. Nebraska swarming defense. Loss of about 2 on the play. Now let's take a look at tonight's T-Mobile play of the game, and no question about it, it was the fake field goal.
And Gary Pinkel, big salute to you for making this call. You know, win or lose on that call, Gary Pinkel sent a message to his ball club. We're out to win this ball game. I'm not satisfied with tying it and hoping things go well later. And Big Mo, I say Big Mo is definitely on the side.
I'd say so.
Of the guys wearing the black shirts tonight.
Second down and goal from the 9. Smith on the draw, keeps it inside the 5. Touchdown, Missouri!
Watch Brad Smith. Now Lombardi talked about a seal here and a seal here. We're going to run the play right through the alley. Look at that. Coming right at you. We're following his big guys. Getting a block downfield from Thompson Umboga, number 87. A definite call quarterback draw. And Brad Smith ran that play with a purpose. Great blocking, too.
Feeney missed the last extra point. Gets this one. Smith, 3 touchdowns tonight. Had 3 coming into this game for the season. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. EJ.
They're on Ohio State venturing on the road for the first time this season, taking their 5-0 record with them. But Wisconsin getting this touchdown out of Booker Stanley for a 7-0 Badger lead. That's the way it stands late in the second. Back to you, Ron.
3 rushing, 1 receiving touchdown for Smith tonight. 24 points he accounted for, not too bad.
Not bad. And tell Ernie I can sing on Wisconsin. Now you take a look at all these numbers for tonight. You know, David Horns had a good night for Nebraska running the football, but right now they're going to have to throw it. But Brad Smith, he has been the big story. We talked about him at the top. Look at the numbers he's put up in this ball game. And the big number of the night, turnovers. Nebraska, 5 of them. And then the points off of it, Missouri, 21 of them. There's the tail of the tape.
Now, we were talking to Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator of Missouri. One of his keys, takeaways. Absolutely, positively had to have them. They said they hang their hat on speed to the ball, vision and break, and takeaways. And they work at punching the ball out.
Yeah, they work at that all the time, and they even have it to the point of, you know, anyone carrying a football in practice is fair game.
Yeah.
You know, and if you punch it out, that person has to drop and give them some push-ups.
That's right. Davis up over the 30 to the 34-yard line. Good field position. You know, Craig Sager, we've been talking about that Missouri defense, and they get points for what they do.
Yes, they do. The score is 41-24, but the points are adding up on their defensive production chart. The last 3 series alone, James Kinney gets 5 points for causing a fumble. Diedrich Harrington, 5 for recovering a fumble. The next series, Brian Smith, he gets 3 for a quarterback hit, 5 for causing a fumble, and then Zach Bill, 7 for the interception. They play with passion, and they're also accountable.
Good stuff, Craig. Penalty flag, not going anywhere as the clock nears 5 minutes to play in this ball game. They've already made the announcement here, do not run on the field, you'll be arrested, but we can see people leaving the hill on the left side. They're already getting ready to hit the field.
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Security.
68,349.
There we go.
I'm afraid he's a little outnumbered.
I don't know how to break this to him.
Yeah, really.
But that walkie-talkie
not going to
be any help. He's going to need some reinforcements for this one.
You need Iowa State goalposts that can't come down. Lord's pass up in the air, incomplete, almost intercepted again. Davis had it in his hands and bobbled it.
You know, going back to what Craig showed us with the production board, as Missouri almost gets another turnover and more production board points, Josh Davis unable to handle it, almost knocks it up in the air. See Kinney with a big hit, cause the incompletion. The production board, as Craig said, makes them accountable, shows their production on defense. On offense, they have the same thing, but the offensive coaches told the guys, don't worry about your grades this week, just go play. They were worried too much about it, worried about too many minuses on their grade sheet.
They throw it out in the flat, and Missouri's defense is there again. Mark LaFleur, the receiver, but he is swarmed. Check out what's coming to TBS.
One client all the way. Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr.
I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money!
Jerry Maguire. Sunday, 8 Eastern on TBS Superstation.
Right now, Missouri's showing Nebraska the victory with just 4:28 to play in a ball game.
Do you know the human head weighs 8 pounds, Ron?
No, missed that one.
You know only dogs and bees smell fear?
Oh, that's good. First half, Nebraska 5 of 9 on 3rd down, 1 of 6 tonight in the second half. Lord sets up the screen. Davis, nowhere to go. Another tremendous play by James Kinney.
Kinney's one of the co-captains of the team, and we talk with Gary Pinkel about leadership, and he, as most coaches will tell you, your best leaders need to be your best players because it's hard to lead if you're not on the field making plays. He's asked for more leadership from James Kinney, but he also asked for more production. And obviously tonight, he has gotten that from number 24.
Kyle Larson standing back at his 12-yard line, 3:25 to play. Nice driving kick into the wind. Marcus James hit at the 25, still on his feet, looking for some room. Gets up to about the 37-yard line. 45 yards on the kick, 9 on the return. A.J. Ricker yesterday told us he had a feeling about this game.
I got a weird feeling about this year, you know, more than I had in the past. You know, they're going to come in here. I mean, they're a great team. They've played some good teams so far. And it seems like we always play Nebraska pretty well. You know, I can even go back to before I was even here in the kick when they won that game. You look back, Nebraska normally plays, you know, Missouri pretty tough. And I don't know, I just got a special feeling about this game this year.
AJ, you're as good as our Saturday Swami, Craig Sager, in the cards.
Yeah, Craig reading cards and tea leaves. AJ doing it with production.
Straight ahead running, clock closing in on 3 minutes to play. Zach Abram, you know, Gary Pinkel, when he took over, he talked about getting respect for this program. 4-7, then 5-7. Could have gone to a bowl last year, except they got blown out by Kansas State. But the only way you get respect is by winning football games. Gary Pinkel will get respect tonight if this lead, and it should, hold up.
Well, they'll go to 5-1. Many people had kind of given up hope when they went to Kansas and lost, and gave them their first loss of the year because everyone expected them to be 5-0 when they played Nebraska after they beat Illinois in the first game of the season because they thought the schedule set up for it. Now they started, all the gloom and doom kicked in. But look at this. Missouri has pulled the people back into their camp.
Smith dumps it up to the 50 to Cisse, still on his feet, down to the 40-yard line. First down, Missouri. Craig Sager, what are they doing on the sidelines to get ready for this celebration?
It's not just the sidelines, Ron, but also over in the end zone where I am and where our camera's on top of the goalpost. They are literally going to lower the goalpost before the fans run on the field. Bob Stanley, the assistant athletic director for administration and facilities, called Donnie Duncan for the Big 12, got permission to lower the goalposts as soon as the game is over so that the kids won't climb on the goalpost and get hurt. So they got a machine standing by right here. As soon as that gun goes off, the goalpost will come down.
Well, we already had one injury in college football because of the goalpost going down. You can't take any chances. Good call by the Big 12 and our good buddy Donnie Duncan. Left side, Abram running room inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. Just a reminder to stick around for the Chick Quattro postgame report. Ernie and Brian Bosworth will catch you up on all of today's action, including Oklahoma, Texas, Miami, Florida State, that Ohio State-Wisconsin game, and, of course, our game all coming up. We have 1:53.
Hey, do you see our guys going to get the camera off of the goalpost? That came down. That was worthy of a NASCAR pit stop.
That's right.
The amount of time he went up there, and, you know, with the NASCAR on TNT, I mean, zoom, zoom, boom, that thing was down. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
45 straight losses to top 10 teams for Missouri. They're going to keep it on the ground to the 30-yard line. Clock at 1:25. Stuart Bradley on the stop.
Tough night for Nebraska. You see young Daniel Bullock's number 14. And Bernard Thomas, number 5 on the sideline. And can you imagine the outpouring of emotion? Gary Pinkel has told us, right? I'm only concerned about the last few years here because that's all I've been here with Missouri for playing Nebraska. I'm not concerned about the years in the past. You know something? I don't believe it. That's right. What you tell your team, that's fine. But the alumni have told you it's time to beat Nebraska. All the old guard, everyone around campus. This is the opportunity for, as you said, Missouri to make a statement and announce to the Big 12 that they are a player in the conference yet again.
Gary Pinkel and his staff have arrived. The first major Big 12 win for him. Only had one losing season while head coach at Toledo. And just think, they may be going bowling this year. Final 17 seconds. They have to snap it one more time, and the losing streak to Nebraska will be over.
Congratulations, Missouri Tigers.
What a great game by Brad Smith of Missouri. Fabulous game by their defense. Let's watch. Craig Sager standing by with a man of the hour, Brad Smith. Craig.
Well, Brad, first of all, how can you explain this victory when it's been so many years? You obviously had a chance. They took the lead on you. What changed? What turned the game around?
We just was going to do what we've been doing. Play football. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought battle, and we knew it was going to be won in the fourth quarter, so we just had to out-compete Nebraska, and I think we did that today.
In the second quarter, just before halftime, your coach was criticized for not running out the clock. But he told me before we went in the locker room, you can't play it safe. We're going all out. No. How much confidence did he give you?
A lot. I mean, our game plan was to attack the whole game. And, I mean, you can't let up in situations like that. He just sent a message to me and the rest of the guys that we can just let it loose and have fun.
You came to Missouri, one of the key players to try to turn this program around. What does this do for this program?
This is huge. I can't think about how big it is right now, but I'm sure in the future we'll find out. But it's the beginning of something big.
I know I saw a lot of your fans here, including your mother. What are you going to tell her when you see her?
I love her. I mean, thank her for praying. Thank everybody for praying. I mean, God did it for us, and I'm just grateful.
Thank God. All right, I think, Ron, it was in the cards. Missouri wins. Missouri wins.
Absolutely. Charles, final thoughts.
Well, we always hear about Brian Bailey, the strength coach from Nebraska, and their great conditioning. How about a hand for Jeff Fish, the strength coach from Missouri? He had them ready to go in the second half and fourth quarter tonight.
Absolutely. Nebraska, number 10 in the country, loses 41-24. Our next telecast will be next Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern. Oregon State against Washington Huskies. For Charles Davis, Craig Sager, and the rest of the crew, I'm Ron Thulin saying good night from Columbia. Now it's time for the Chick Patro postgame report with Ernie and the Boz.